is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, everyone.
What's going on?
Good morning to you all. Thank you.
So random.
It is random every day. Now, a lot of you, it was a big day yesterday. We're talking about yesterday's January 6th hearing, and we're going to just talk about it and take it apart. It focused on former President Trump and his responsibility for the riot at the Capitol. Now, one of the men to testify was a Trump supporter from Ohio, just a normal guy. He described himself as, quote, nothing but a family man and a working man. He says he was upset by President Trump's claim that the election was stolen. Here's what he said about why he decided to come to D.C. and to the Capitol and ended up on Capitol grounds.
So why'd you decide to march to the Capitol?
Basically, the president, got everybody riled up, told everybody to head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
That man pleaded guilty last month, and he faces up to a year in prison. So what do you all think? After hearing that testimony, does this prove our former president led these people? And is Trump responsible for what happened? Talk to me, Lindsay.
I mean, I think they did a good job laying everything out. I think there was something that was brought up with text messages between Brad Pascal and Katrina Pearson, who both work for Trump, with Brad saying, listen, I didn't mean for this to, I'm paraphrasing, but I didn't mean for this to lead to deaths. And so that's problematic. It's actually two advisors saying somebody is killed, this is on our hands, and Katrina's disagreeing with him. But that means someone is acknowledging it. And so I think that this is definitely damning, but I also am always racking my brain about when people are going to choose to take responsibility for their own actions, like actually storming in and breaking windows, like actually leaving somebody dead, like actually hurting people and police officers. Like, Trump was not the one to step foot in there. So I know the connection exists between what he was saying and what he was doing intentionally, and they're trying to prove that. But the actual people that, and the more than 800 people that have been arrested, I think are intentionally getting arrested and in trouble early because these are people who actually committed the crime.
And let me ask you a question, that's fair, but this guy, Ayers, he's not a Proud Boy or an Oath Keeper. He didn't come in camo. He came in and walked in because Trump said the election was stolen, right? And he said, I'll be with you, I'll march. There was even a draft tweet that we found during this testimony that he was going to put out earlier. This is Trump saying, I'll be making a big speech at 10 a.m. on January 6th at the Ellipse. Please arrive. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol afterwards. Stop the steal. So that was found in his archives. So he was going to put that out before. If I'm a regular guy, I think my country's been stolen. I've been, as he said, somewhat brainwashed by social media. And my president says, I'll meet you there, stop the steal. And I go just to show up without weapons or anything. Is that really all me? Or is that coming at all responsibility for inciting that?
Well, I definitely think there's a connection. Like I said, I think this day specifically has been very damning for President Trump, given all the meetings, given those text messages between two of his staffers. But I also want to make sure that we're looking at the personal responsibility that it takes for someone to step foot on Capitol grounds and leave people hurt.
Mm-hmm. And they're being held responsible for that, a lot of them, for seditious conspiracy. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's, you could influence persons so much, right? It's ultimately their actions what lead them to what they do, right? You didn't put the son and Sam's dog in jail because he told them to kill people. He did that action. You could blame it on whoever you want. You're the person who went in there. That interpretation of that tweet that we just read, I'm not trying to back Trump. I'm just being realistic. You can interpret that any way you want. That could mean, hey, we're all going to meet and have a barbecue, or we're going to go storm the Capitol and with guns. Like, your interpretation of what that is up to you. I don't know if it necessarily points fingers in this case at President Trump with a guilty verdict. I
guess what I'm saying too, and I hear what you guys are saying, they have autonomy, they can decide. But after years and years of saying, follow me, follow me, follow me, sort of a personality of a cult, which we saw, the rallies, the idea of it's Trump or nothing, right? And then to say the election was stolen from under me, they thought they were doing their patriotic duty in some respects and were brainwashed by the leader of the free country trying to stop a peaceful transfer of power. Does he not hold responsibility for yelling fire in a theater? People might run, but someone who yelled fire incited it.
So the Manson family is not responsible for murdering and stabbing Sharon Tate?
Charles Manson never killed anyone. He went to jail, though.
But so did the other people.
Right, but he also went to jail.
But I'm saying, this guy's trying to get off on a technicality, saying, listen, he told me to do it. If he would have told me to back off, I would have backed off. Listen, you're a grown man. First of all, shave, okay, dude? Get real. This guy's a joke, okay? I understand people want Trump in jail. That's fine. This guy's a nerd, and he doesn't know how to take responsibility. responsibility for himself, and that's just the bottom line. Let's talk serious.
I think what Jeff's trying to articulate is the intention.
That wasn't articulate?
No. I think because you're saying he's a nerd and everything, and I agree with those things. But what is really there
You're a grown man.
is the
Start
fact
making
that this
decisions for
guy
yourself.
is now shaking the police officer's hand and doing things that we're going to discuss further into this segment that are just performative, because we're talking about a man, Stephen Ayers, that had lost his house, that had lost his job.
Exactly.
Right? So what else are you going to do? There's no other path for you forward unless you just want to continue downhill.
So
you must apologize.
Of course he's going to apologize, and he did. He went up and he hugged some of the officers.
You must act like he is acting if you're called to this hearing in front of the entire world after you.
But you guys aren't blaming at the very top the person who keeps saying this was stolen. This is.
I see what you're saying, because you speak for the American public. No one wants to listen to us talk, right? Because all they want to hear is, how do we get Trump in jail?
But
nobody
why
cares
don't
about
you
the
want to see Trump in jail?
But that's what I just told you, that you kind of ran past. If you're bringing Trump into court, forget all these people, forget all the testimony that we talk every day, okay? Forget all those people. They should go to jail for going to the Capitol, storming on their own merit. Go to jail. Don't confuse what I'm saying. They should go to jail. However, all of Trump's tweets, what he told them people to do, is up for opinion. It's hearsay. How do you decipher what he was saying in those messages? In the court of law, Tori, and that's where you famously
shine.
I guess so. I couldn't find the word. In the court of law, is he going to be convicted under his peers of 14 people, unbiased, right? On, hey, I can interpret this on how he told people to go storm the Capitol. Just look at that of Trump in a court of law. Do you believe he'd be found guilty just based on the tweets?
Also, there's a specific set of things that have to be proven for the Department of Justice in order to convict President Trump. That's what this investigation is about. It's like laying it on a platter. But I think what you're saying is that if it is not proven and we don't have a specific thing that aligns Trump exactly with his actions, saying that this tweet in these words incited this man, then it will be a failed attempt, and then we already impeached him twice.
I feel like
this is the third.
But did you not hear what I'm saying?
I do hear what you're saying. They should be in jail, and Trump, I can't say for certain shouldn't be, because he didn't riot.
I'm saying you really abide by the Constitution and things like that. And people, like I used that word yesterday, or used that example yesterday, when people have a murder charge, they know this person did it. Everyone knows this person did it. But if they don't have a body in the court of law, it's hard to prove that. It's hard to prove that Trump incited these people to go storm the Capitol.
And that's why I'm watching these hearings so closely, and what I'm seeing is an organized, premeditated, deliberate big lie to say, if I lose, it's rigged. And when he tells his people it's rigged, and then he tells people, the Secret Service, I know they're armed, let them in, let them pass the metal detectors, they're my people, they're not here to hurt me, that's lining up dot to dot that he's inciting. And remember, he was testified that he grabbed for the steering wheel to take the limo to the Capitol so he could be there. He reached for the throat of his Secret Service agent because he couldn't be there. All these are linking up that he had planned this. There were meetings. His lawyers tried to stop it. Brad Parscale is like, it's on his hands. I don't see how I see it,
how much
and you
is
don't.
here, like, again, Tori, if this is a court of law, I totally see your side, and so does America. They want Trump in jail, and I get that.
But why don't you want Trump in jail?
I didn't say I don't want him in jail. Don't you dare put that on me.
But why
don't you ever say that?
Want is Trump in jail?
I'm saying in the court of law. You're about due process. Don't argue with me about due process when it works for you, and now it's not on your side, and you're telling me I'm for Trump. Don't paint that picture of me. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I get enough crap from people outside because of the color of my skin and what people believe I stand for and what people judge me for. I don't support Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. Don't put that on me.
I'm not. I'm sincerely asking why you think you aren't convinced, and I'm asking this, or why you think we all just want Trump in jail without seeing that this is an actual case.
Can I just add that the next hearing is the one that's going to prove exactly or talk about what he did in the moments that the insurrection was happening. And so I think that Jeff has been watching these hearings closely, like you have, like I have. And so each step, yes, is getting more damning, but we're waiting until the hearings are complete to see all the details that connect every single dot.
I hear you. I just think it trivializes it to say, I just want to see Trump in jail, when what I want to see is responsibility for a possible coup. And that's a big deal to me. I really believe that.
All right. Well, I just want a fair judgment, right?
Fair.
And without being judged with something else. You say one thing just because you're trying to see both sides, and all of a sudden you're a racist, you're a Trumper, you're this or that. What you're painting, Tori, is exactly what people write in, exactly what people DM me, and exactly what people say to me. So watch what you say, because people, you know you're grabbing the public on that side, because that's all people do. They don't want to look at facts. They just want to throw names and label people, and that's what we do in America right now.
I'm looking at every fact.
So when people feel like they're losing the conversation, throw a label. You know what? You must be racist. That's what the problem is.
All I said was why you don't want Trump to go to jail. Why you don't want.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You kept saying all you want, so I simply asked you that back. I didn't call you any names.
I just, listen, whatever. We'll talk about Trump tomorrow and I'll look like a jerk again.
All right, we'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
The point, we could leave it. I'm just saying, don't you see the point of the conversation I'm trying to make is in the court of law, Tori, would he be found guilty? And then you bring it back to like I'm a Trump supporter.
No,
you can't.
don't.
I don't like that. I don't like that rhetoric. I don't like that even you're leaning there. I don't think Tori went there, but I just don't like the rhetoric of someone saying as soon as you take the side of anything, whether it be anything racial, whether it be trans, whatever it is political, as soon as you lean towards one side, that means you're 100% not with us, and you're a racist, and you're this, and you're a Trumper, and you're all those other things. And those labels stick with you. Believe it or not, they stick with you because I've lost jobs over those things. So I'm a little sensitive over some of these things that we talk about. Some of the people on this panel haven't, but I have, and I'll talk about them one day. But maybe that's why I'm a little more sensitive than other people.
And I didn't mean at all to go that far. I was simply asking, why don't you? And a lot of people agree with you, Jeff. It's just what this conversation's like in a lot of people's homes, I think.
Yeah.
I love you.
Read YouTube and see what people are saying.
The Jeff bashing is ridiculous. No, Jeff, that is what Fox says. Unreal. Jeff has a point despite what others believe.
This is the debate people are having, so I know
Jeff
it's
is
hard,
right
but-
about the side, says Brandy. No, Jeff, says Rolling. So it's back and forth. I just didn't mean to personally affect you in any way.
Well, maybe I took it a little personal. That's all. I just don't like having these debates and me being the guy on that side because I'm not on that side. I'm in the middle. But it's very easy for people to point their fingers and stereotype and label people. So that's what I'm more frustrated. I'm not frustrated with that, not Tori.
Warm in here. That's how it is in a lot of people's homes, and we're glad you guys are joining us and feeling safe enough to write us in. Continue doing so. Well, switching gears here, we're finally seeing video from inside Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Not an easy thing to see. A gunman killed 21 people. Let me tell you, it's going to cause a lot of outrage, and it already is, at the police response. Now, a warning, I mean this to our viewers, these images are disturbing, and you can hear gunshots if that's triggering. The video shows police showing up within 3 minutes of the gunman entering the school. But after taking fire, the police are seen retreating, running back down the hallway, where they essentially then waited for the next 70 minutes. Also caught on video is police restraining a fellow deputy who wanted to storm the room. He is a father of one of the children that was killed. The video also shows that an officer used hand sanitizer while waiting. The officers also were checking their phones. So how are the parents of the victims taking this? That's hard to see. The phone one I hadn't seen. Sorry. Well, there's a lot of outrage, but some parents are relieved that they're at least getting some transparency, while others are upset the video was released without being first able to see it. I don't know why the phone thing hit me, but what are they doing? 40% of their budget in Uvalde goes to the police.
And I think it's one thing to hear about this and another thing to see it. And so now we're seeing, we've been racking our brains for like 2 months about why it took almost 80 minutes for police to act. And now we have proof and not press conferences about what exactly they were doing, like getting hand sanitizer or having all the equipment they needed to save lives and just standing there. And there are a lot of parents that are upset because they wanted to see this video first, but it also was reopening those wounds of trying to figure out why your children weren't saved and knowing that there's no real reason. I think it was a failure to the children and to the parents of Uvalde, and just, it's disheartening and sad to even hear those gunshots. This morning when I watched it, those gunshots are children dying. And so I just, it's tough to continue to hear about this, but now we have real hard evidence that they failed miserably.
Yeah, good guys with guns. What if your kid was in this school? What would you do?
First of all, I want to apologize for getting a little worked up.
Me too. I love you very much.
I'm not worked up at you. I'm worked up at the country and these labeling things, so I love you.
I love you. I appreciate
But I am about to get worked up about this.
I know, and
okay?
feel
That's
free.
Right. And when I saw this video, they knew what happened right away. They saw this video hours after what happened, right? And then they have to do this press conference knowing their officers were sanitizing their hands, looking at their cell phones while a live shooter is down the hallway and you're checking your cell phone. These guys are going to have some serious issues moving forward because there is a thing called survivor's remorse. And after seeing these videos and all the children die and all the families that were affected in their family and they're checking their cell phones, when they have the proper tools, the guns, the shields, the men, to go in there and get one shooter, and you're sanitizing your hands and checking your cell phones, listen, I don't know if you believe in the up above, but there's something else coming for these men.
I hear that. We'll be right back.
We love...
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day.
Switching gears completely in the show, he was launched into the big screen as the lovable preteen who played for the Chicago Cubs, and then he became the guy who initiated the pact with his friends on American Pie. And earlier we spoke with Thomas Ian Nicholas.
I was listening to your song 1999, which we're going to get to later. That had a lot of nostalgia. And speaking of that, you were just 12 years old when you filmed Rookie of the Year. I'm from Chicago. I always see Rowan Gardner jerseys all the time when I go to Wrigley Field. That's got to make you feel so cool. I want to know what you did with yours. And what was it like as a kid? Because we're only 2 years apart. I wanted to be you. I wanted to be in Wrigley Field throwing that ball around.
I've had the honor of going back to Wrigley Field once a year since 2008.
Wow.
To throw out the ceremonial first pitch, sing the 7th inning stretch. And for years, I would get the jersey with just my last name, with Nicholas. And then I realized how much people really still love the movie, so I started getting them to put Rowan Gardner on the back. And every year, I auction them off to raise money for whatever cause I'm supporting that year.
That's
like
super
your
cool.
dream.
Yeah, that is your dream.
That's your dream.
Him running around Wrigley Field was like every kid's dream in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Chicago too, but I was at Comiskey.
Erica, do we not need to call the elephant in the room? Does he not look like your husband?
He does.
You do. Not in the I want you to be my husband. You just actually look like my
twins.
It's weird.
You look just like Anthony.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And now I feel creepy. So you went on to film American Pie at 18 years old. So what were your first thoughts when you read the script?
I mean, when I got the script, it wasn't called American Pie. it wasn't even called East Great Falls High. It was called the untitled teen sex comedy that you can shoot for under $10 million that audiences will love but studios will hate.
Yeah.
Oh, great. That makes sense.
Sign me up.
For real, that was on the first page of the script.
That was the title of the script on the cover sheet.
Okay, so why did you decide to take part in it? Like, what kept you on it?
Oh, I first saw that, read the opening scene, which was different. It wasn't Jason Biggs and him and his television. It was Kevin and Vicky, and it was a similar thing happening with some instructions. And I was like, oh my gosh! I threw the script in the trash, and I said, why are you sending me this NC-17?
Right.
I don't do this type of movie. It was only after when they said they really wanted to see me, can you please read the whole script? I realized there was a lot more heart to it, especially for my character. And I thought it was very brilliantly written. So I auditioned for it. And here we are, 23 years later.
I would say in our age group, every single person saw American
It's
Pie.
our John Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
It's our John Hughes film.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
1000%. Okay, but we have to talk about the fact that you're also a musician and you got the coolest band room behind you.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. And then also
This is Bowling for Soup studio.
What?
I'm here in Dallas. This is Jarrett Reddick's studio. We've got an event tonight where we're going to be watching Rookie of the Year for his podcast, Jarrett Goes to the Movies, with a live audience at Lava Cantina.
Dude.
So I'm here in Jarrett's studio where I recorded 1999.
That
is so awesome.
So cool. Okay, so we got to talk about it. So you've got a new song about American Pie. It's called 1999. It's a parody of the Bowling for Soup song 1985. We're going to take a listen. Here we go.
Jim stuck on second base till apple pie replaced. Paul Finch is so refined. Oz the lacrosse guy. Stifler's feeling frail from the pale ale. Vicky wants I love you.
And that's the clean version. It's so good. You guys have to listen to the whole thing. So here's the thing. You actually wrote this song with Jarrett, who you were just talking about, from Bowling for Soup. Clearly, you're in their studio now. We know. What was it like, though, doing a parody song with the band you're parodying?
Yeah.
I might be the only artist that has gotten that opportunity. And to be honest, we did a screening event for his podcast for American Pie back in December. We became instant best friends, just clicked. And it was actually Jarrett's idea. We were playing a show after the podcast. He started playing 1985. He goes, we should sing lyrics about American Pie. And now here we are. He sparked the idea.
What does that feel like? Like, is it being a rock star? How would you compare that to being an actor?
I mean, it's live versus, on a movie set, I get plenty of opportunities to do take after take. I mean, provided that we're not running out of time. But, a live feeling is totally different, especially being on stage with Bowling for Soup. I mean, these guys are selling out every show that they're playing. Wow. My band is not necessarily that popular, so this is a big opportunity for me.
That's amazing. I love that.
So cool. I love it so much. DBL Nation 1999 is streaming on all platforms right now, so you got to make sure that you download it. You can also follow Thomas on social. Look for the username TinBand. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Rock out tonight, buddy.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked verified viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several verified viewers asked us, Will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up, 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This summer is looking to be the busiest travel season in years, and scammers are looking to cash in. So it's time for a Security Alert sponsored by LifeLock. Cyber criminals are setting up fake Wi-Fi networks with very convincing names to get your info. So be careful connecting at airports, cafes, and tourist spots. Also, if a deal sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Beware of emails or social posts that offer a great deal and then redirect you to another website. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock makes it easy to help protect yourself from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-953-0836 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. We got some comments. Bobby says, I'm with Jeff. I hold my tongue a lot. Kayla says, yes, Tori. Marcy Ann says, Jeff has a good point. So let's just say we love each other. We love everyone here. That's what this show is about, those kind of discussions.
Love you.
Love you.
And I'm just caught in the middle.
Yeah, I said, we'll see you tomorrow.
Where hope finds help. Where courage meets conviction. Where makers make fans. We are Tegna, a family of local and national media brands that bring us together, serving the greater good of our communities. Where national know-how backs local business. Be in good company with Tegna.
I know you lying. You are wrong as all get out.
Be honest about what you are, but don't get tough when BLM protesters are walking down the street.
I don't know how much time we have, but I'm about to go on this rampage really quick. Okay, 1 minute.
Who are you?
I'm Tori.
Oh.
I thought everyone knew. Sorry.
Don't you respect my opinions as well? I have to respect yours. Can't you respect mine? Raise the roof.
Yes.
Oh, embarrassing. Yeah. DBL is all new every day.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A Capitol rioter testifies that he was just following Trump's orders.
The president, got everybody riled up, told everybody head on down.
Is this direct evidence that the former president is to blame for the insurrection? More outrage as surveillance video of the Uvalde school shooting shows the delayed response by police. What exactly happened in the minutes before they went after the shooter? Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum singer Ashanti will be here live. Plus, all the reactions to this year's Emmy nominations, from This Is Us getting majorly snubbed to a special moment of celebration for Cheryl Lee Ralph after 50 years in the biz.
You got nominated?
Oh my God.
You nominated?
Yes.
Love it!
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Excuse me, I'm already reading the comments. You guys are fired up. So we're going to dive right in. A lot of you are clearly talking about yesterday's January 6th hearing that focused on former President Trump and his responsibility for the riot at the Capitol. Now, one of the men to testify was a Trump supporter from Ohio who described himself as, quote unquote, nothing but a family man and a working man, who says he was upset by the president's claim the election was stolen. So here's what he said about why he came to D.C. and ended up on Capitol grounds.
So why'd you decide to march to the Capitol?
Basically, the president, got everybody riled up, told everybody head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
Okay, so that man pleaded guilty last month. He does face up to a year in prison. We want to hear from our panel. We want to hear from you. After hearing that testimony, does this prove that our former president led these people? And is Trump responsible for all that happened? What would you say, Jeff?
There's a lot to break down. That's what I have to say. We have to take these into chunks and different conversations. If we're focusing on this man right now, do you want to talk about this man or do you want to talk about the president?
I think they're hand in hand.
Okay, well, this man, I'm going to talk about this man right now. This man, I don't know if he's making excuses for what he did or if he's trying to rectify what he did. Like, looking back, hindsight's 20/20. What I did was wrong, right? I like that perspective. I don't know what he's saying. Is he trying to get out of what he did? Because no matter who's responsible, he's responsible for his own actions. And I'm speaking to him directly, not the president. What he did, he is responsible for. If you storm the Capitol with weapons, intention trying to breach the Capitol,
right,
you have to pay the piper. It's time for you to do what you need to do. Now, if you want to talk about the president and if he's responsible, we could have that conversation. But I was speaking for him in general.
Well, I think he speaks for a lot of people, right? He isn't part of the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers. He's the every guy. And he said he was obsessed with social media. And he said he followed Trump over and over again. And what's interesting to me is I think both can be true. He is been accused and convicted of seditious conspiracy. He's going to spend time in jail or probation. But the person in charge who's inciting that riot, which the January 6th committee is trying to prove, is saying that had Trump said, we would have called it off, that guy would have left a lot earlier. They were simply listening to a leader who bears a lot of responsibility for lying about an election being stolen. And when you lie and you have a cult of personality, they're going to believe you. So there was a draft tweet that they found at the hearings. This is what Trump had approved but never sent out. I'll be making a speech at 10 a.m. on January 6th. Please arrive early. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol after. Stop the steal. This seems premeditated, deliberate, organized. This is a coup that started before January 6th. And if you have a group of people that are going to listen to everything you say, and you say, let's go, and you can bring your weapons, that's what they'll do. He never brought a weapon in. I'm glad that he apologized. I still think he was an insurrectionist, and he has to pay the piper, like you said.
In the court of law, though, would this be up for interpretation? Now we're talking about President Donald Trump.
Right.
Did he incite the riots? Is he to blame? If you had 14 people on a jury, which this is
12.
not, or 12, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not
Right.
one of those, right? It's a testimony with the panel.
This is just what they found.
Right, there's no defense, right? So if you did have all that, this is the question that I'm posing just to see the other side. If there was 12 people on a jury, would these tweets or would whatever you just showed and all the other information, would that lead up to 12 people saying, Yes. He didn't really say that, but yes, he incited that. I think he needs to go to prison. That's the question. That's the question.
Well, even if it's not prison, though, can I just throw this out there? The fact that, right, he was at one point, there was an impeachment hearing. Obviously, the system failed, if that's the way you want to view it. However, if he's proven that this was seditious conspiracy, that will prevent him from running again.
And I think that's what this is all about. To be perfectly honest, I posed the question about jail time. I personally don't think he's going to see jail time. I think this is all for him not running in 2024. Because if he's convicted of a felony, he cannot run in 2024. But I still don't think he'll see prison time.
I want to get to the next beat. Yeah, absolutely. I do think this investigation, especially yesterday, if you haven't watched it, showed a direct link into the big lie, into what I want, into I'll be there at the Capitol with you, into I want you to march in and it's okay if you have weapons. To me, that's a pretty long link. It's all up to the Department of Justice now. So wait for the ending, but I think they've made a pretty clear case. Is it up for debate? Absolutely.
So you brought up the Oath Keepers, that this gentleman was not. However, another person did testify who was a former Oath Keeper, who was actually the communications director for the extremist group. Here's what he said about his view of what happened that particular day on January 6th.
I think we need to quit mincing words and just talk about truths. And what it was going to be was an armed revolution. I mean, people died that day. This could have been the spark that started a new civil war, and no one would have won there.
Wow. So now a quick note. He was incorrect when he said that officers died that day, although multiple officers died in the days and months following the riot. But what do you think of his testimony, Erica? And I just want to say, too, the fact that we were so close, according to someone that was in on the ground floor, communications director, to a civil war, doesn't right now put everything aside to you, put all your politics aside. We have to prevent the precedent, because this could happen again with worse results.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it so ironic that a lot of this is coming up and coming through social media. And social media is an amazing tool to galvanize. It's also an amazing tool to throw the grenade and hide your hands. You have people who, and I'm just going to be very clear about this because there's been some talk about the people who have testified. People are not necessarily grounded in reality out there. And there are parties, and I'm saying like parties as in people, who are dependent upon people not being grounded in reality. If you go walk outside and say the sky is blue, and they can walk right out there and be like, actually, it's a hot pink, and everyone's like, yes, we all agree it's a hot pink. That's what's happening right now. Like no one is participating in the same reality. So the idea that this isn't like a cult following thing, and we've talked to a lot of cult survivors, it's dependent on people who aren't grounded and rooted in reality, and that is a very generous assessment of what's happening. They're also going to be your foot soldiers, because when you have less to lose, you have a lot more to gain. So when people have nothing and they've lost their hope, and they have someone who is charismatic and saying, I see you when the rest of the world is ignoring you. I know that you deserve these things because it's your birthright. And they're saying, no one has ever said this to me before. So of course they're going to do whatever you say. But the idea of hiding your hands, that's why the string, like what you were talking about earlier, Tori, that's why it's important to connect the dots. Because if this group of people can do it, any group of people can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make a correction. It wasn't
Final thought, yes.
seditious conspiracy, was disorderly conduct. I wanted to make that clear for heirs.
Thank you. Wow. Well, we will be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
I know. He and I this morning were talking about how let's keep it super calm at 10:30, so if there is a debate, that'll happen at noon. We were like, boy, our plan really worked.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking about the noon viewer.
Anyways,
They don't know what happened.
go for it, T-Bone. Shine.
Yeah, that was a great point. And my question to you, Erica, is when you say they're not grounded in reality, is that on them when it comes to the riots?
Yep.
Does the leader of that group have responsibility for what they do?
The leader of the group absolutely has a responsibility, simply because they're dependent upon that group of people not being grounded in reality.
Right. That's how cults work. That's how cults work. That's how the Taliban works. Yeah. That's how a lot of these groups work. They take the disenfranchised and they give them, there's a very powerful, I forget where I saw the quote, dying for something to live for. You can break that down. It's a double entendre. You can break it down. Just think about that. Someone is dying for something to live for. They've got nothing to lose. And you're right, Erica, like it's really scary. And what gave me chills when I watched the hearings yesterday is hearing that guy say pretty much how close we were to a civil war. Yeah, he was like, we wanted it. Yeah. And I don't know if you know, but like Cassidy Hutchinson, one of the aides, said when Trump went into the Beast or the limo, after leaving that morning, he's like, let's go to the Capitol. I want to go to the Capitol. He had a surprise event to go to them, right? And they drove off and said it's not safe. He reached over and tried to grab the steering wheel and then reached for the throat of his bodyguard who said, we cannot go to the Capitol. There's too many people armed. So that shows you someone who's not obeying any of the laws or transfer of power. So it's a really interesting discussion. And I know what you mean. Is there enough proof? Is there enough proof? Let me know what you think.
Erica, somebody wrote. This is a really tough story. So we are finally seeing video from inside Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman killed 21 people. And let me tell you, it's causing a lot of outrage at the police response. So a warning to our viewers, these images are disturbing and you can hear gunshots. So the video shows police showing up within 3 minutes of the gunman entering the school. But after taking fire, the police are seen retreating, running back down the hallway where they essentially waited for the next 70 minutes. Also caught on video was police restraining a fellow deputy who wanted to storm the room. He is a father of one of the children that was killed. The video also shows that an officer stopped to use some hand sanitizer. The officers also checked their phones. So how are the parents of the victims taking this? Well, there's a lot of outrage, but some parents are relieved that they're at least getting some transparency, while others are upset that the video was released without them being able to see it first. Let's start with the police officers. Jeff, as a parent, can you imagine your child being in there and then this is the lackadaisical response that you see?
I saw this yesterday, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, did that man just get hand sanitizer? Did that man just check his phone? If I were that officer wanting to storm and they held me back and that officer got hand sanitizer right in front of me, I would have punched him directly in the face. This is abhorrent. I don't even know the word for this. They knew this the minute it came out. They had those videos hours later, and they come up with this story of what happened and why. They had the manpower. They had shields. They had guns. They had people ready to go. They sat there for 70 minutes when there was children of your community in there. Listen, I didn't even take an oath. I'm not a police officer. I would have been like, give me that gun. I'm going in, my kid's in there. You have a gun and your kid's in there? How do you think that officer feels? What do you do if you see them at a diner in your community and you're like, they're the guy who put hand sanitizer on?
I know.
It really, I lose my temper a lot, and this one really, really gets me.
It is like, Jeff, honestly, same thing. All the hand sanitizer in the world is not going to wash the blood off your hands, my G, okay?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what we're talking to and what we're having our children do is prepare for this said very exact event. We have our children in America doing active shooter drills with police officers who don't know how to frickin' respond. Are you serious? Are you serious? You have 5-year-olds, 5-year-olds who know what to do. That was the most chilling thing when I told you my mom was in lockdown at an elementary school. And she's like, it was so chilling because it was silence and these children knew exactly how to move and what to do.
Yeah.
The children know exactly how to move in an active shooter situation and the police don't?
Yeah.
Like, this is This system can't even be fixed. The mayor. It needs to be taken down completely and dismantled.
And I just want to piggyback on her point, Tori, on the fact that the police officers obviously did not know what to do, but there's a whole nother layer to this because those police officers did go to training.
What training do you need, Sam, when your child is in there and you have guns and manpower and someone's in there actively shooting and you hear bullets? What kind of training do you need, Sam? What do you do?
Well,
you go in there.
If you have a lack of moral character, which I don't like saying about police officers since they put their lives at risk every day, but
not
this department, not this department, there's a lack of moral character.
There's also a lot that's criminal negligence. That's manslaughter. You could be held accountable.
Are they going to be held accountable? I sure hope so.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Wow. Whew. Well, we are definitely going to change gears. We all need it. I know we've started with some very heavy topics, but we do have, you guys are going to love this, Ashanti. Ashanti, I'm sorry, I love her. We'll be here live. We're going to chat with the R&B star in just 2 minutes, so stay with us. We're going to exhale, and we're going to have a nice little Ashanti talk.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. The hit song Rock With You, and here to rock with us live, the chart-topping R&B singer and songwriter, Ashanti.
Ashanti, hey sis. Okay, so I understand. I am wonderful, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
You look amazing. I mean, it's not cracking at all. Okay, so let's talk about when you were a kid, because this is really how it all started. You used to sing while you did household chores. So how did that lead to a career in music, and what were you singing at that time?
Ooh.
So funny. I was singing Reminisce by Mary J. Blige while I was vacuuming. I started doing local talent shows at the Boys and Girls Club. I won a few times, and then I started doing bigger auditions with bigger labels, and I kind of ended up here.
I love it. I don't know if you were listening to Ashanti when we were talking. It was pretty heavy, but Ashanti is my new safe word. Yeah, my new Ashanti. Yeah, whenever things get difficult, I'm gonna be like, guys, Ashanti, and everyone's gonna get in the line.
I love that.
You're his Prozac.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's. I love this question. You met Biggie Smalls early on in your career. Everything, all the documentaries they still put out to this day, I watched. What do you remember most about meeting Biggie?
I remember I was so excited And I was so young, and he was the first person to call me Shorty. He's like, "What's your name, Shorty?" You know, he wrote my name. You know, the headshots back in the day. He had a black and white headshot. He gave me an autograph, and I was like, "Yes, Mom, look what I got." I was very excited.
Oh my God, I had so many of those black and white headshots I did nothing with, hundreds of them, right?
Why did you have them?
Because I tried to, right? You had to print hundreds of them. Anyway, your collaboration with Lorenz Tate for the Rain on Me music video left a very powerful impact on listeners. But I want to know for you personally, Ashanti, why was it a step outside of your comfort zone?
You know, when I heard the beat, that is the concept that came to my mind. I don't even know why or how come. I remember being in a limo back in the day on the way to a book signing, and they just kept playing the beat, and that was just the concept that came to me.
Wow.
And it felt so real and so organic. And although I had never experienced that, I knew a few people that have gone through really, really horrible situations. So I knew that it would resonate, and it was something different than a lot of my peers were talking about. So I took the opportunity to use my platform to bring light to that, you know, because I'm a female, and, you know, I love guys too, but I love females. And I wanted to kind of, you know, shed a little bit of light on that, because a lot of women were dealing with that silently. You know?
It was important.
It really was.
It really was. Okay, so we got to also talk about the fact that you are Hello Beautiful's cover star.
Yeah.
And performing for their look at you. You look amazing. Also performing for their Interludes live series to, of course, celebrate 20 years, you guys, since her debut album. That's crazy. So, Ashanti, in all that time, when did you feel the proudest?
Honestly, I think I felt and feel the proudest when I get interactions with my fans and they talk about how my music has changed their lives or helped them out of a situation, or, you know, if I see my name tatted on someone or my face tatted on a fan and they talk about how, you know, the music is therapeutic and the love is just so real. For me, that's just like, it's so priceless. You know, I'm a very humble person. I'm like, you know, I'm your average younger Long Islander, you know what I mean? I'm super down to earth, you know? So when I see things like that, it resonates with me and it makes me feel really proud. You know, it's a blessing to have like Grammys and, you know, American Music Awards and Billboard. Those are all super cool. But when I'm able to like have one-on-one and these reactions and these fans telling me their stories, and again, like having my face tatted on you is like, it's so bizarre. So those are like the proud moments.
That's amazing. Perspective, complete perspective.
Thanks for changing the energy too.
Yeah.
I feel so
We
good.
needed you.
Yeah.
Ashanti, thank you so much for chatting with us. You can watch her perform some of her greatest hits on Hello Beautiful's Interludes Live, premiering July 17th on TV1. We'll be right back. Thanks, Ashanti.
Thank you.
See, my days are cold without you. Days, yeah. And though my heart can't take no more, I keep on running back to you. See, my days are
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked verified viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several verified viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up. 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Ashanti says.
That's right.
We're talking about how amazing Ashanti is and like her perspective of like when your viewers see you and you actually help them through a moment in their lives, that's what matters.
I wanted to do a little karaoke Ja Rule with her. If we had some time. Yeah. We were in a totally different vibe, you know what I mean? But I was being like, ain't that funny? I wanted her to get into that a little bit.
Jeff,
Erica, you were here for it.
We're gonna have to cool Jeff down, okay? Jeff's a little hot under the collar.
She got me worked up. I was excited.
Okay, welcome back to tease. We have something wrong with the prompter.
We'll see you guys in a bit.
If you guys are leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, Daily Blast Live, or our app. But if you get the second half of the show where you are, here's what's ahead. Emmy noms are in. We're sharing the best reactions of stars hearing their nomination news, and the LGBTQ plus community is no exception to domestic violence. We're joined live by an activist shedding light on this important issue.
Actor Brad Pitt is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. While you would probably never forget meeting him, he says he probably won't remember you, but don't take it personally. Pitt told GQ he thinks he suffers from prosopagnosia, or face blindness. After his interview, Google searches about the condition spiked. So, let's verify. Is face blindness a real condition? Our sources are the National Institutes of Health, the UK's National Health Service, Baptist Health Hospital, and Brad Duchesne, co-founder of faceblind.org. All of our sources say, yes, face blindness is a real condition. Duchesne tells us people with face blindness don't just have trouble recognizing acquaintances, but they might struggle to recognize a family member or close friend, or sometimes even their own face in a mirror. In some cases, face blindness occurs after a brain injury, like a stroke, and a person can sometimes relearn how to recognize faces. In other cases, face blindness is genetic, with potentially up to 1 in 50 people who may have developmental prosopagnosia, which progressively gets worse and can't be cured.
They don't have difficulty with facial identity due to, say, early vision problems. They don't have a problem with their eye. And they also don't have high-level cognitive problems. So it's a problem specifically with the mechanisms in our brain that are important for visual recognition.
Duchesne says some people with face blindness cope with the disorder by learning to recognize other features, like hair, how a person speaks, or even their teeth. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. So the Emmy noms came out yesterday, and shows like Succession, Squid Game, and Ted Lasso scored dozens of nominations. But let's focus on the stars who had some pretty epic reactions to making the cut. So first, Sydney Sweeney got emotional on the phone with her mom after being nominated twice, one for her role in Euphoria and another for The White Lotus. Watch.
Congratulations!
Oh, and after 50 years in the biz, friend of the show, Cheryl Lee Ralph, did not hold back. She was nominated for her work on Abbott Elementary. Watch.
Oh my God!
You got nominated?
Oh my God!
You nominated?
Yes!
Love it!
Oh my
Yes!
I have goosebumps. Oh my gosh. But there were some snubs as well. Jennifer Aniston was not nominated for The Morning Show, but her co-star Reese Witherspoon was. Blackish stars Anthony Anderson and Tracee Ellis Ross were left off the list. This Is Us star Mandy Moore also reacted to her show being snubbed in all major categories. And on Instagram, she wrote, "Do I wish our show was recognized in what I think was its finest hour? Sure, but nothing can take away what our show meant to so many." Erica, what did you think of the noms and the snubs?
Miss Cheryl,
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years in the industry. It's been so well deserved for so long, and I am so happy to see her get her due. There were, in terms of the snubs, I think both Blackish and This Is Us for their final seasons really came through. I know that Sterling K. Brown was very adamant about Mandy Moore getting a nomination, and I can understand the reasons why. To play those different, say the same character in different decades, for all that there was a lot of complexity in that. But overall, the story, Cheryl.
The story is
Miss
Cheryl. I love it. She deserves it. What? What was that?
Were we going to keep going?
I don't know, but you made a fish face. What was that?
there was a pause, and we know like to jump on those pauses, but you were going to the next story. I thought we were going to say a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's not important.
Oh, wow.
I was going to talk about the dynamic of Reese Witherspoon getting one, not Jennifer Aniston. But I guess we're done with that.
I love you. Okay, so there is a new couple alert, maybe. Bradley Cooper is reportedly dating former Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin. According to Page Six, Bradley and Huma have been an item for a few months. They both attended the Met Gala in May, but arrived separately. Vogue editor Anna Wintour reportedly played matchmaker and introduced them. Huma was married to disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Tori. Sorry. Okay, Tori just made a sound effect.
Sorry.
And we all know Anthony Weiner went to prison for sending inappropriate texts to a 15-year-old girl.
Multiple different problems.
Multiple different problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see her move on from Anthony Weiner.
Glad? I am elated. Where's my camera? Is that you? Is that you?
That's
you. Okay. I would just like for every man and woman out there who has been scorned by little wieners all over the world to understand that this is the comeback story, okay? Huma is graceful and elegant and intelligent and dynamic. And she was held back for all those years by this little wiener who wanted to send his little wiener to little kids, okay? We all make mistakes, but in the end, it is the story. It is the comeback story for your relationship. So I am praying this is true, and he better be treating her good, because listen, there is somebody out there for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a comeback relationship story for all of us.
Y'all aren't going to follow that, are you?
I don't want to.
I didn't even make a sound.
Not one
She
sound.
made a sound effect.
No, I just was like, woo! I'm not following that. It was very good.
Okay, so are you guys looking for the perfect birthday gift for a 4-year-old? How about some cold hard cash? On Sunday, Cardi B and her husband Offset celebrated their 4-year-old daughter's birthday with a trip to Candytopia and $50,000 in cash. Take a look.
What you say?
What is that?
It's a ticket. A ticket is $1 million, girl. That's 50. Say 50.
I'm sure that they put it like in her bank account.
For sure.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of things there. One, I didn't know what $50,000 looked like. I had no idea. You know what
I didn't either.
I thought it would have been like a briefcase or something. And a ticket? A ticket's $1 million?
I guess.
Willy Wonka ticket. I don't know what a ticket is. Anyways, you're right. I think this is just, they're just doing this for a little show. This is no different than growing up. My grandma used to give me bonds. Not a ticket's worth, but just a bond. But I mean, that's no different than that. I'm sure right after they filmed, they're like, give me that cash. And like they gave it security and off to the bank or whatever.
Yeah. For college fund, whatever it may be.
Does it feel like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's weird to give a kid that much, like a child that much cash. I don't want to talk about anyone's wallet, but did it feel weird to anyone else?
It felt like a little gimmick to me. I saw it for what it was.
Yeah.
What do you think, Erica?
I think people should do whatever they want with their children. Well, I mean, Sorry.
Erica.
Sorry. I mean,
Erica.
if you want to give your child something, I mean, at least you
That's
know
your
it up for
camera over there.
Y'all know what I meant, okay? They're
did.
showing up for their child. They want to give their child $50,000. Give the child $50,000. I'm not a parent. I don't know. At least they doing something for the child.
Okay. Oh, good. We get to talk about the cow.
Now I know why you were flying through the stories. Now it makes sense.
All right.
We got a cow story. Let's make some time at the end.
Move over, folks.
So some people are flocking to a farm in North Carolina just to cuddle with cows. So Mountain Horse Farm is offering people the chance to cuddle, embrace, talk with, or even groom two of their cows, Bonnie and Bella, of course. The farm's owner says whether people are suffering from depression, anxiety, or loneliness, the cows at the Gentle Barn. Wait, this is the Gentle Barn? I go to the Gentle Barn. Okay, this is amazing. I thought this was a random farm. The Gentle Barn is a whole...
Well known, yeah.
Well known.
Yes.
They have one in Santa Clarita, which your girl over here used to frequent all the time when she lived in Los Angeles. I even did their Thanksgiving Day event where you feed the turkeys.
Oh, wow.
And then you do a drum circle. It's fantastic. So this must be the Gentle Barn in North Carolina. But I would love to hear what your initial reaction was to cuddling a cow.
My initial reaction is, I am so happy for you that Al Jackson is not here to troll you. Congratulations.
I know Al would love cuddling a cow if I took him to the Gentle Barn. What did you two think?
What'd you think?
They said 3, so go for it.
Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, no,
Soak
we got
in it.
time, yeah.
Sit in it, sit.
Look, taking care of another animal takes the pressure off the sadness when you're really in it. So when they say get a plant, get a pet, get a turtle, get a fish, it's because you're taking care of something. Do I think this is fabulous? Yes, I do. Do I think I would want to cuddle with a cow? Moo! Yes, I would. I was trying to come up with a pun, but I didn't have it. I'm just saying, if you're really down and pills aren't working and you're really self-sabotaging, what a brilliantly safe and happy place to be. I'm all for it.
Okay, Jeff, would you take your kids to...
I should have went first.
What?
I should have went first.
Would you take your kids to... There's a place called Broken...
petting zoo? Yeah.
No, this is different.
I feel a little weird, like, loving on a cow and then having a barbecue later. You know what I mean?
I get it. And that's...
So I don't know if I'd be
fair.
brushing the cow. It's like brushing my burger.
No, it does change people's minds.
Yeah.
Now, I have some pictures of me at the Gentle Barn as well as me at Broken Shovels. Broken Shovels is local. Oh, that's actually Bellevue Park, which I'm sure you've been to, Jeff. So
and they stink. They're not like that. Look, that's disgusting.
No, it's amazing.
It stinks in there.
We look at Mark's asleep. So that's at Broken Shovels, which is local here. And what you do is you cuddle the cows, you brush them. You can't see me there actually brushing one of the calves. Those calves are 4 months old. But let me tell you that, so people are like, oh my God, people are paying money. No. That fee is a donation to this foundation. And the foundation, what they do with it, and this is not a PSA, but I think it's important to Tori's point.
Yeah.
What they do in Los Angeles is they take children that have been abused and they do animal therapy with formerly abused farm animals, many of them about to be slaughtered, and they cathartically heal one another. The children and farm animals cathartically heal each other.
I can attest to the child element of that, especially when you have abused and neglected children. It is it's incredible to actually see abused and neglected animals. Like there is a connection.
There's a bond. The equine, the horses, when you have a kid, you have to treat it differently. It changes your brain into a different mode of I'm so sad, I'm so sad, I'm so sad.
Maybe we could do a group outing to Broken Shovels here.
I would be utterly for that.
A group, and film it?
Sure.
I have to support my family with this show, and I need it to go longer. If we're doing cow segments for 5 minutes and then taking a crew there.
Taking a what?
A crew?
Oh, we could use our cell phones. We don't have to take the crew there. Anywho, coming up on DBL.
Cool pig picture.
It was.
Okay. We have a very important segment coming up next. We are joined live by an activist shedding light on domestic violence within the LGBTQ plus community. He explains what makes these cases so different. So stay with us for that.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
Circle. It's
all right. Yeah, so Al Jackson, if you're watching at home, I wish you were here, buddy, because that's your dynamic with Sam is perfect for that segment. It went on a little bit too long. I was going to make a pun there. I was going to make that pun, but Tori's not here. So we're getting introduced. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask, and I guess you could keep this on camera. Hey, Dre.
Oh, good.
So my question is, and tell me if this is okay, what makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? It's okay to say queer.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I get uncomfortable sometimes about proper vernacular and what I can and can't say.
As your local gay, I will say yes.
Yeah, there we go. And you know, you're my I always go to you.
I'm always just go-to. Yes, I'm everyone's go-to.
I know. I just like to make sure because sometimes things coming out of my mouth, I feel weird.
Also, another question he might ask is, what is Jere's Instagram? It's @Jere for the slay. So if you just want to drop that, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Ask him some questions. He's good.
Hey, how's it going on, Jere?
And he does. He answers all my questions. I do. I have a lot of questions like, Dre, so what do we think about this? I'm going to say this. And he's like, that's a good take. Maybe lean this way a little bit. I'm like, thanks, buddy.
Solid voice of reason, you know? Gotta make sure.
I love it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's it. Got a good segment coming up. Sam, you got some more cow stuff you want to share? Sam?
You want to plug the cow place?
Oh, the Gentle Barn. So apparently there's one in North Carolina. I believe there's one in Tennessee as well. And then the one that I used to go to is in Santa Clarita. And if you are in that area, do their Thanksgiving Day event because it's all about honoring local indigenous tribes and then feeding turkeys. You do a whole drum circle. It is the best thing ever.
Right time. But when you said turkey, we feed the turkeys and the drum circle.
Author Timothy McLemore is an activist who shares positive stories about gay men, including his own journey overcoming domestic abuse. He has a very important message, especially for the LGBTQ plus community, and it's also the title of his new book, Love is Not Abuse. Wow. Timothy is here live. We so appreciate you. Welcome to DBL, Timothy.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here because obviously this is a very important message. You didn't actually get the chance on your own terms to come out to your family. So how did you end up being outed?
Well, a previous relationship of mine that doesn't pertain to my book, once I ended the relationship due to his infidelities, he decided to be spiteful and tell my family members, my mother, my stepfather, and my uncle, all through via social media. Thankfully, it worked out good for me in the long run because my mother and my stepfather have been nothing but supportive. They're actually like my biggest cheerleaders. Mom is a momager now. So it worked out good for me, but for other people, that could be very dangerous. Some people's family may not be as accepting or open to that type of lifestyle.
Yeah, not how violating and also how potentially dangerous. I wanted to ask you this, and I know it's quite sensitive, but following that relationship, your partner physically abused you. Thank you for being open about this. What was your breaking point? Someone watching might really need to hear that answer.
My breaking point was when it was near lethal. For me, everything just snapped. And actually, after I got out of my relationship, I learned that a lot of these cases are unreported. Only 26% of near lethal domestic violence towards men is reported. And that's according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
So, Timothy, you kind of just got on that topic right now. What makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? You were kind of leading on to that.
Yeah, it's unreported, honestly. There's not much awareness to it. And a lot of us are victims in many other ways, but domestic violence, especially amongst each other and intimate partner relationships, there's no guidelines, there's no awareness for us. And so I really want to make a change, and I really want to, tell people that, and so I really want to make a change, and I really want to, tell people that love is not abuse.
That's amazing. All right, tell us also, what action should people take if they are or know someone in an abusive relationship? Again, speak right to that viewer.
Yeah, first of all, if you see something, say something, and that goes for everyone. If you see one of your friends are not acting like themselves, or you hear about the violence, say something, because the sooner that you raise their awareness that the relationship that they're in is not normal, the sooner they'll be able to leave that relationship. You also establish yourself as a resource for them when they're ready to get out of that relationship. Now, if you are currently in a domestic violent relationship, you need to start with a paper trail. I know we don't have the best relationship with our imperfect justice system with, the queer community, but we need a paper trail. You need to remove yourself from the situation, contact your authorities, and get a restraining order.
Wow. Timothy, what you're saying is saving lives.
Thank you.
And I know it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of courage, and I want to thank you. And I know for a fact that one of our viewers watching is either personally going through it, or to your point, the see something, say something. They know that they should probably do something. So where can we send our viewers who might need support to leave that abusive relationship?
Yes, you can follow my nonprofit organization, Essential Haus, Haus. I just recently started it. I just finished all the groundwork. We plan to open a queer shelter that's open to trans, bisexual, gay, lesbian. We really just want to help people get out of these relationships, whether they need housing assistance, job placement, educational resources.
So smart.
We just want to be there to make a change for them.
Timothy, I just wanted to circle back because you mentioned a paper trail, and a paper trail can come in a lot of different ways. So can you be a little bit more specific about having a paper trail so that you have something to corroborate when it's time to either go to the police or leave or get a restraining order?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. So in my case, personally, my previous partner that was abusive towards me, he was smaller than me. So when the police came, thanks to neighbors that called, when the police did come, they kind of had question marks, but here I am, I'm bleeding and everything, but they're just kind of like, defend yourself. And I just felt like it wasn't helpful. So I feel like having a paper trail, because eventually when he did go to jail after the 8th or 9th incident, when he did go to jail, all of those previous phone calls and reports helped in my case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Document.
Phone calls, text messages,
journals,
yeah.
and screenshots if you need to.
Right.
Anyway, it doesn't have to be paper. It's digital. You know what I mean?
Wow. You know what, Timothy, thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, DBL Nation, later this month, you can actually go and pick up a copy of Timothy's book, Love is Not Abuse. What a powerful statement and title. And you can get that on Amazon. We will be right back. Thank you, Timothy.
Thanks, Timothy.
Flexibility.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. This summer is looking to be the busiest travel season in years, and scammers are looking to cash in. Of course, it's time for Security Alert, sponsored by LifeLock. So cyber criminals are setting up fake Wi-Fi networks with very convincing names to get your information. Be careful when connecting at airports, cafe, and tourist spots. Also, if a deal sounds too good to be true, remember it most likely is. Be aware of emails or social posts, beware of them, that offer a great deal and then redirect you to another website. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock makes it easy to protect yourself from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-953-0836 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked Verify viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several Verify viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up. 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Before we go, we want to give a shout out to the man. What is that, Harrison Ford? He is the man. He turns 80 today. According to The Guardian, he's Hollywood's last great movie star. Of course, he's known for playing iconic roles like Han Solo in the Star Wars movies and is set to reprise his role as Indiana Jones in a new film. Other classics include The Fugitive, Air Force One, Patriot Games. Happy birthday, Mr. Ford.
Get off my plane.
I felt that.
Yeah, he's just like, you wanted him to be the president. I mean, that's the guy. With the little earring.
You think he still has that earring?
I think so.
I think he still rocks it, huh?
I think
he rocks it.
Off
Still
camera?
with Callista Flockhart. How cute are they?
I know. Still flying his own little planes. I got some comments.
Wow, so that cow story, huh?
Raise V-Vibe. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was about this one. Donnie wanted to write in, and I appreciate this. He says, I want to thank DBL for bringing this segment with Timothy McLemore. It was a very important one at this and on the show, and it's another reason why I love this show. And you make sure every community is brought into this community, and I really into the conversation. I appreciated that a lot. And then Twin78 said, Ashanti gets the MVP today for her presence at DBL.
Yes, yes. You know, I interviewed Ashanti 15 years ago. Wow. So it's really amazing. Like, it almost makes me emotional to see some of these women like Sierra and, I mean, there's so many, I can't name all of them. Yeah. But to see how they've stayed in the game and it's awesome.
My apologies too when I mentioned the Ashanti song. I sang a Jennifer Lopez song. Yeah. Thank God I didn't say that to her.
How could you? That would have been embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
See you guys tomorrow.
Where hope finds help. Where courage meets conviction. Where makers make fans. We are Tegna, a family of local and national media brands that bring us together, serving the greater good of our communities. Where national know-how backs local business. Be in good company with Tegna.
I know you lying. You are wrong as all get out.
Be honest about what you are, but don't get tough when BLM protesters are walking down the street.
I don't know how much time we have, but I'm about to go on this rampage really quick. Okay, 1 minute.
Who are you?
I'm Tori. Oh. I thought everyone knew. Sorry.
Don't you respect my opinions as well? I have to respect yours. Can't you respect mine? Raise the roof.
Yes.
Embarrassing. Yeah. DBL is all new every day.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A Capitol rioter testifies that he was just following Trump's orders.
The president, got everybody riled up, told everybody to head on down.
Is this direct evidence that the former president is to blame for the insurrection? More outrage as surveillance video of the Uvalde school shooting shows the delayed response by police. What exactly happened in the minutes before they went after the shooter? Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum singer Ashanti will be here live. Plus, all the reactions to this year's Emmy nominations, from This Is Us getting majorly snubbed to a special moment of celebration for Cheryl Lee Ralph after 50 years in the biz.
You got nominated?
Oh my God.
You nominated?
Yes.
Love it!
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Excuse me, I'm already reading the comments. You guys are fired up. So we're going to dive right in. A lot of you are clearly talking about yesterday's January 6th hearing that focused on former President Trump and his responsibility for the riot at the Capitol. Now, one of the men to testify was a Trump supporter from Ohio who described himself as, quote unquote, nothing but a family man and a working man, who says he was upset by the president's claim the election was stolen. So here's what he said about why he came to D.C. and ended up on Capitol grounds.
So why'd you decide to march to the Capitol?
Basically, the president, got everybody riled up, told everybody to head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
Okay, so that man pleaded guilty last month. He does face up to a year in prison. We want to hear from our panel. We want to hear from you. After hearing that testimony, does this prove that our former president led these people? And is Trump responsible for all that happened? What would you say, Jeff?
There's a lot to break down. That's what I have to say. We have to take these into chunks and different conversations. If we're focusing on this man right now, you want to talk about this man or you want to talk about the president?
I think they're hand in hand.
Okay, well, this man, I'm going to talk about this man right now. This man, I don't know if he's making excuses for what he did or if he's trying to rectify what he did. Like, looking back, hindsight's 20/20. What I did was wrong, right? I like that perspective. I don't know what he's saying. Is he trying to get out of what he did? Because no matter who's responsible, he's responsible for his own actions. And I'm speaking to him directly, not the president. What he did, he is responsible for. If you storm the Capitol with weapons, intention trying to breach the Capitol,
right,
you have to pay the piper. It's time for you to do what you need to do. Now, if you want to talk about the president and if he's responsible, we could have that conversation. But I was speaking for him in general.
Well, I think he speaks for a lot of people, right? He isn't part of the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers. He's the every guy. And he said he was obsessed with social media. And he said he followed Trump over and over again. And what's interesting to me is I think both can be true. He is been accused and convicted of seditious conspiracy. He's going to spend time in jail or probation. But the person in charge who's inciting that riot, which the January 6th committee is trying to prove, is saying that had Trump said, we would have called it off, that guy would have left a lot earlier. They were simply listening to a leader who bears a lot of responsibility for lying about an election being stolen. And when you lie and you have a cult of personality, they're going to believe you. So there was a draft tweet that they found at the hearings. This is what Trump had approved but never sent out. I'll be making a speech at 10 a.m. January 6th. Please arrive early. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol after. Stop the steal. This seems premeditated, deliberate, organized. This is a coup that started before January 6th. And if you have a group of people that are going to listen to everything you say and you say, let's go, and you can bring your weapons, that's what they'll do. He never brought a weapon in. I'm glad that he apologized. I still think he was an insurrectionist, and he has to pay the piper, like you said.
In the court of law, though, would this be up for interpretation? Now we're talking about President Donald Trump.
Right.
Did he incite the riots? Is he to blame? If you had 14 people on a jury, which this is
12.
Or 12, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not
right.
One of those, right? It's a testimony with the panel.
This is just what they found.
Right. There's no defense, right? So if you did have all that, this is the question that I'm posing just to see the other side. If there was 12 people on a jury, would these tweets or would whatever you just showed and all the other information, would that lead up to 12 people saying, Yes. He didn't really say that, but yes, he incited that. I think he needs to go to prison. That's the question. That's the question.
Well, even if it's not prison, though, can I just throw this out there? The fact that, right, he was at one point, there was an impeachment hearing. Obviously, the system failed, if that's the way you want to view it. However, if he's proven that this was seditious conspiracy, that will prevent him from running again.
And I think that's what this is all about, to be perfectly honest. I posed the question about jail time. I personally don't think he's going to see jail time. I think this is all for him not running in 2024, because if he's convicted of a felony, he cannot run in 2024, but I still don't think he'll see prison time.
I want to get to the next beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think this investigation, especially yesterday, if you haven't watched it, showed a direct link into the big lie, into what I want, into I'll be there at the Capitol with you, into I want you to march in and it's okay if you have weapons. To me, that's a pretty long link. It's all up to the Department of Justice now. So wait for the ending, but I think they've made a pretty clear case. Is it up for debate? Absolutely.
So you brought up the Oath Keepers, that this gentleman was not. However, another person did testify who was a former Oath Keeper, who was actually the communications director for the extremist group. Here's what he said about his view of what happened that particular day on January 6th.
I think we need to quit mincing words and just talk about truths. And what it was going to be was an armed revolution. I mean, people died that day. This could have been the spark that started a new civil war, and no one would have won there.
Wow. So now a quick note, he was incorrect when he said that officers died that day, although multiple officers died in the days and months following the riot. But what do you think of his testimony, Erica? And I just want to say, too, the fact that we were so close, according to someone that was in on the ground floor, communications director, to a civil war, doesn't right now put everything aside to you, put all your politics aside. We have to prevent the precedent, because this could happen again with worse results.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it so ironic that a lot of this is coming up and coming through social media. And social media is an amazing tool to galvanize. It's also an amazing tool to throw the grenade and hide your hands. You have people who, and I'm just going to be very clear about this because there's been some talk about the people who have testified. People are not necessarily grounded in reality out there. And there are parties, and I'm saying like parties as in people, who are dependent upon people not being grounded in reality. If you go walk outside and say the sky is blue, and they can walk right out there and be like, actually it's a hot pink, and everyone's like, yes, we all agree it's a hot pink. That's what's happening right now. Like no one is participating in the same reality. So the idea that this isn't like a cult following thing, and we've talked to a lot of cult survivors, it's dependent on people who aren't grounded and rooted in reality, and that is a very generous assessment of what's happening. They're also going to be your foot soldiers, because when you have less to lose, you have a lot more to gain. So when people have nothing and they've lost their hope, and they have someone who is charismatic and saying, I see you when the rest of the world is ignoring you. I know that you deserve these things because it's your birthright. And they're saying, no one has ever said this to me before. So of course they're going to do whatever you say. But the idea of hiding your hands, that's why the string, like what you were talking about earlier, Tori, that's why it's important to connect the dots. Because if this group of people can do it, any group of people can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make a correction. It
Final
wasn't
thought, yes.
seditious conspiracy, was disorderly conduct. I wanted to make that clear for heirs.
Thank you. Wow. Well, we will be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
I know. He and I this morning were talking about how let's keep it super calm at 10:30, so if there is a debate, that'll happen at noon. We were like, boy, our plan really worked.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking about the noon viewer.
Anyways,
I think they don't know what happened.
go for it, T-Bone. Shine.
Yeah, that was a great point. And my question to you, Erica, is when you say they're not grounded in reality, is that on them when it comes to the riots?
Yep.
does the leader of that group have responsibility for what they do?
The leader of the group absolutely has a responsibility, simply because they're dependent upon that group of people not being grounded in reality.
Right.
That's how cults work.
That's how cults work. That's how the Taliban works. That's how a lot of these groups work. They take the disenfranchised and they give them, there's a very powerful, I forget where I saw the quote, dying for something to live for. You can break that down, because it's double entendre. You can break it down. Just think about that. Someone is dying for something to live for. They've got nothing to lose. And you're right, Erica, like it's really scary. And what gave me chills when I watched the hearings yesterday is hearing that guy say pretty much how close we were to a civil war.
Yeah, he was like, we wanted it. Yeah. And I don't know if you know, but like Cassidy Hutchinson, one of the aides, said when Trump went into the Beast or the limo, after leaving that morning, he's like, let's go to the Capitol. I want to go to the Capitol. He had a surprised event to go to them, right? And they drove off and said it's not safe. He reached over and tried to grab the steering wheel and then reached for the throat of his bodyguard who said, we cannot go to the Capitol. There's too many people armed. So that shows you someone who's not obeying any of the laws or transfer of power. So it's a really interesting discussion. And I know what you mean. Is there enough proof? Is there enough proof? Let me know what you think.
Erica, somebody wrote,
This is a really tough story. So we are finally seeing video from inside Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman killed 21 people. And let me tell you, it's causing a lot of outrage at the police response. So a warning to our viewers, these images are disturbing and you can hear gunshots. So the video shows police showing up within 3 minutes of the gunman entering the school. But after taking fire, the police are seen retreating, running back down the hallway where they essentially waited for the next 70 minutes. Also caught on video was police restraining a fellow deputy who wanted to storm the room. He is a father of one of the children that was killed. The video also shows that an officer stopped to use some hand sanitizer. The officers also checked their phones. So how are the parents of the victims taking this? Well, there's a lot of outrage, but some parents are relieved that they're at least getting some transparency, while others are upset that the video was released without them being able to see it first. Let's start with the police officers. Jeff, as a parent, can you imagine your child being in there and then this is the lackadaisical response that you see?
I saw this yesterday, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, did that man just get hand sanitizer? Did that man just check his phone? If I were that officer wanting to storm and they held me back and that officer got hand sanitizer right in front of me, I would have punched him directly in the face. This is abhorrent. I don't even know the word for this. They knew this the minute it came out. They had those videos hours later, and they come up with this story of what happened and why. They had the manpower. They had shields. They had guns. They had people ready to go. They sat there for 70 minutes when there was children of your community in there. Listen, I didn't even take an oath. I'm not a police officer. I would have been like, give me that gun. I'm going in. My kid's in there. You have a gun and your kid's in there? How do you think that officer feels? What do you do if you see them at a diner in your community and you're like, you're the guy who put hand sanitizer on?
I know.
It really, I lose my temper a lot, and this one really, really gets me.
It is like, Jeff, honestly, same thing. All the hand sanitizer in the world is not going to wash the blood off your hands, my G, okay?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what we're talking to and what we're having our children do is prepare for this said very exact event. We have our children in America doing active shooter drills with police officers who don't know how to frickin' respond. Are you serious? Are you serious? You have 5-year-olds, 5-year-olds who know what to do. That was the most chilling thing when I told you my mom was in lockdown at an elementary school. And she's like, it was so chilling because it was silence and these children knew exactly how to move and what to do.
Yeah.
The children know exactly how to move in an active shooter situation and the police don't?
Yeah.
Like, this is... this system can't even be fixed. The mayor. It needs to be taken down completely and dismantled.
And I just want to piggyback on her point, Tori, on the fact that the police officers obviously did not know what to do, but there's a whole nother layer to this because those police officers did go to training.
What training do you need, Sam, when your child is in there and you have guns and manpower and someone's in there actively shooting and you hear bullets? What kind of training do you need, Sam? What do you do?
Well,
you go in there.
If you have a lack of moral character, which I don't like saying about police officers since they put their lives at risk every day, but not this department, there is a lack of moral character.
There's also a lack. That's criminal negligence. That's manslaughter. You could be held accountable.
Are they going to be held accountable? I sure hope so.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Wow. Whew. Well, we are definitely going to change gears. We all need it. I know we've started with some very heavy topics, but we do have, you guys are going to love this, Ashanti. Ashanti, I'm sorry, I love her. We'll be here live. We're going to chat with the R&B star in just 2 minutes, so stay with us. We're going to exhale, and we're going to have a nice little Ashanti talk.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. The hit song Rock With You, and here to rock with us live, the chart-topping R&B singer and songwriter, Ashanti.
Ashanti, hey sis. Okay, so I understand. I am wonderful, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
You look amazing. I mean, it's not cracking at all. Okay, so let's talk about when you were a kid, because this is really how it all started. You used to sing while you did household chores. So how did that lead to a career in music, and what were you singing at that time?
Ooh.
So funny. I was singing Reminisce by Mary J. Blige while I was vacuuming. I started doing local talent shows at the Boys and Girls Club. I won a few times, and then I started doing bigger auditions with bigger labels, and I kind of ended up here.
I love it. I don't know if you were listening, Ashanti, when we were talking. It was pretty heavy, but Ashanti is my new safe word. Yeah, my new Ashanti. Yeah, whenever things get difficult, I'm gonna be like, guys, Ashanti, and everyone's gonna get in the line.
I love that.
You're his Prozac.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's. I love this question. You met Biggie Smalls early on in your career. Everything, all the documentaries they still put out to this day, I watched. What do you remember most about meeting Biggie?
I remember I was so excited And I was so young, and he was the first person to call me Shorty. He's like, "What's your name, Shorty?" You know, and he wrote my name. You know, the headshots back in the day. He had a black and white headshot. He gave me an autograph, and I was like, "Yes, Ma, look what I got!" I was very excited.
Oh my God, I had so many of those black and white headshots I did nothing with, hundreds of them, right?
Why did you have them?
Because I tried to be, right? You had to print hundreds of them. Anyway, your collaboration with Lorenz Tate for the Rain on Me music video left a very powerful impact on listeners. But I want to know for you personally, Ashanti, why was it a step outside of your comfort zone?
You know, when I heard the beat, that is the concept that came to my mind. I don't even know why or how come. I remember being in a limo back in the day on the way to a book signing, and they just kept playing the beat, and that was just the concept that came to me.
Wow.
And it felt so real and so organic. And although I had never experienced that, I know a few people that have gone through really, really horrible situations. So I knew that it would resonate, and it was something different than a lot of my peers were talking about. So I took the opportunity to use my platform to bring light to that, you know, because I'm a female, and, you know, I love guys too, but I love females, and I wanted to kind of, you know, shed a little bit of light on that, because a lot of women were dealing with that silently. You know?
It was important.
It really was.
It really was. Okay, so we got to also talk about the fact that you are Hello Beautiful's cover star.
Yeah.
And performing for their look at you. You look amazing. Also performing for their Interludes live series to, of course, celebrate 20 years, you guys, since her debut album. That's crazy. So, Ashanti, in all that time, when did you feel the proudest?
Honestly, I think I felt and feel the proudest when I get interactions with my fans and they talk about how my music has changed their lives or helped them out of a situation, or, you know, if I see my name tatted on someone or my face tatted on a fan and they talk about how, you know, the music is therapeutic and the love is just so real. For me, that's just like, it's so priceless. You know, I'm a very humble person. I'm like, you know, I'm your average younger Long Islander, you know what I mean? I'm super down to earth, you know? So when I see things like that, it resonates with me and it makes me feel really proud. You know, it's a blessing to have like Grammys and, you know, American Music Awards and Billboard. Those are all super cool. But when I'm able to like have one-on-one and these reactions and these fans telling me their stories, and again, like having my face tatted on you is like, it's so bizarre. So those are like the proud moments.
That's amazing. Perspective, complete perspective.
Thanks for changing the energy too.
Yeah.
I feel so
We
good.
needed you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
Ashanti, thank you so much for chatting with us. You can watch her perform some of her greatest hits on Hello Beautiful's Interludes live, premiering July 17th on TV1. We'll be right back. Thanks, Ashanti.
Thank you.
See, my days are cold without you. My days, yeah. And now my heart can't take no more. I keep on running back to you. See, my days are
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked Verify viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several Verify viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up, 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Ashanti says.
That's right.
We're talking about how amazing Ashanti is and like her perspective of like when your viewers see you and you actually help them through a moment in their lives, that's what matters.
I wanted to do a little karaoke Ja Rule with her if we had some time. Yeah. She was we were in a totally different vibe, you know what I mean? But I was be like, ain't that funny? I wanted her to get into that a little bit.
Jeff
Erica, you were here for it.
We're going to have to cool Jeff down, okay? Jeff's a little hot under the collar.
She got me worked up. I was excited.
Okay, welcome back to tease. We have something wrong with the prompter.
We'll see you guys in a bit.
If you guys are leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, Daily Blast Live, or our app. But if you get the second half of the show where you are, here's what's ahead. Emmy noms are in. We're sharing the best reactions of stars hearing their nomination news, and the LGBTQ plus community is no exception to domestic violence. We're joined live by an activist shedding light on this important issue.
Actor Brad Pitt is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. While you would probably never forget meeting him, he says he probably won't remember you, but don't take it personally. Pitt told GQ he thinks he suffers from prosopagnosia, or face blindness. After his interview, Google searches about the condition spiked. So, let's verify. Is face blindness a real condition? Our sources are the National Institutes of Health, the UK's National Health Service, Baptist Health Hospital, and Brad Duchesne, co-founder of faceblind.org. All of our sources say, yes, face blindness is a real condition. Duchesne tells us people with face blindness don't just have trouble recognizing acquaintances, but they might struggle to recognize a family member or a close friend, or sometimes even their own face in a mirror. In some cases, face blindness occurs after a brain injury, like a stroke, and a person can sometimes relearn how to recognize faces. In other cases, face blindness is genetic, with potentially up to 1 in 50 people who may have developmental prosopagnosia, which progressively gets worse and can't be cured.
They don't have difficulty with facial identity due to, say, early vision problems. They don't have a problem with their eye. And they also don't have high level cognitive problems. So it's a problem specifically with the mechanisms in our brain that are important for visual recognition.
Duchesne says some people with face blindness cope with the disorder by learning to recognize other features, like hair, how a person speaks, or even their teeth. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. So the Emmy noms came out yesterday, and shows like Succession, Squid Game, and Ted Lasso scored dozens of nominations. But let's focus on the stars who had some pretty epic reactions to making the cut. So first, Sydney Sweeney got emotional on the phone with her mom after being nominated twice, one for her role in Euphoria and another for The White Lotus. Watch.
Congratulations!
Oh, and after 50 years in the biz, friend of the show, Cheryl Lee Ralph, did not hold back. She was nominated for her work on Abbott Elementary. Watch.
Oh my God!
You got nominated?
Oh my God!
You nominated?
Yes!
Love it!
Oh my
Yes!
I have goosebumps. Oh my gosh. But there were some snubs as well. Jennifer Aniston was not nominated for The Morning Show, but her co-star Reese Witherspoon was. Blackish stars Anthony Anderson and Tracee Ellis Ross were left off the list. This is star Mandy Moore also reacted to her show being snubbed in all major categories. And on Instagram, she wrote, "Do I wish our show was recognized in what I think was its finest hour? Sure, but nothing can take away what our show meant to so many." Erica, what did you think of the noms and the snubs?
Miss Cheryl,
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years in the industry. It's been so well deserved for so long, and I am so happy to see her get her due. There were, in terms of the snubs, I think both Blackish and This Is Us for their final seasons really came through. I know that Sterling K. Brown was very adamant about Mandy Moore getting a nomination, and I can understand the reasons why. To play those different, say the same character in different decades, for all that there was a lot of complexity in that. But overall, the story, Cheryl.
Go
Miss
Cheryl! I love it. She deserves it. What? What was that?
Were we going to keep going?
I don't know, but you made a fish face. What was that?
there was a pause, and we know like to jump on those pauses, but you were going to the next story. I thought we were going to say a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's not important.
Oh wow!
I was going to talk about the dynamic of Reese Witherspoon getting one, and not Jennifer Aniston. But I guess we're done with that.
I love you. Okay, so there is a new couple alert, maybe. Bradley Cooper is reportedly dating former Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin. According to Page Six, Bradley and Huma have been an item for a few months. They both attended the Met Gala in May, but arrived separately. Vogue editor Anna Wintour reportedly played matchmaker and introduced them. Huma was married to disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Tori. Sorry. Okay, Tori just made a sound effect.
Sorry.
And we all know Anthony Weiner went to prison for sending inappropriate texts to a 15-year-old girl.
Multiple different problems.
Multiple different problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see her move on from Anthony Weiner.
Glad? I am elated. Where's my camera? Is that you? Is that you?
That's
you. Okay. I would just like for every man and woman out there who has been scorned by little wieners all over the world to understand that this is the comeback story, okay? Huma is graceful and elegant and intelligent and dynamic. And she was held back for all those years by this little wiener who wanted to send his little wiener to little kids, okay? We all make mistakes, but in the end, it is the story. It is the comeback story for your relationship. So I am praying this is true, and he better be treating her good, because listen, there is somebody out there for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a comeback relationship story for all of us.
Y'all aren't going to follow that, are you?
I don't want to.
I didn't even make a sound.
Not one
She
sound.
made a sound effect.
No, I just was like, woo! I'm not following that. It was very good.
Okay, so are you guys looking for the perfect birthday gift for a 4-year-old? How about some cold hard cash? On Sunday, Cardi B and her husband Offset celebrated their 4-year-old daughter's birthday with a trip to Candytopia and $50,000 in cash. Take a look.
What you say?
What is that?
It's a ticket. A ticket is $1 million, girl. That's 50. Say 50.
I'm sure that they put it like in her bank account.
For sure.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of things there. One, I didn't know what $50,000 looked like. I had no idea. You know what
I didn't either.
I thought it would have been like a
I did
briefcase
a
or
huge
something.
amount more. Yeah.
And a ticket? A ticket's $1 million?
I guess.
Willy Wonka ticket. I don't know what a ticket is. Anyways, you're right. I think this is just, they're just doing this for a little show. This is no different than growing up. My grandma used to give me bonds. Not a ticket's worth, but just a bond. But I mean, that's no different than that. I'm sure right after they filmed, they're like, give me that cash. And like they gave it security and off to the bank or whatever.
Yeah.
Is
her
it
college fund, whatever it may be.
Does it feel like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's weird to give a kid that much, like a child that much cash. I don't want to talk about anyone's wallet, but did it feel weird to anyone else?
It felt like a little gimmick to me. I saw it for what it was.
Yeah.
What do you think, Erica?
I think people should do whatever they want with their children. Well, I mean, you know. Sorry.
Erica?
Sorry. I mean,
Erica?
if you want to give your child something, I mean, at least you
That's
show
your
it up for
camera
your
over there.
Y'all know what I meant, okay?
We did.
They're showing up for their child. They want to give their child $50,000. Give the child $50,000. I'm not a parent. I don't know. At least they doing something for the child.
Okay. Oh, good. We get to talk about the cow.
Now I know why you were flying through the stories. Now it makes sense.
All right.
We got a cow story. Let's make some time at the end.
Move over, folks.
So some people are flocking to a farm in North Carolina just to cuddle with cows. So Mountain Horse Farm is offering people the chance to cuddle, embrace, talk with, or even groom two of their cows, Bonnie and Bella, of course. The farm's owner says whether people are suffering from depression, anxiety, or loneliness, the cows at the Gentle Barn. Oh, wait, this is the Gentle Barn? I go to the Gentle Barn. Okay, this is amazing. I thought this was a random farm. The Gentle Barn is a whole...
Well known, yeah.
Well known. They have one in Santa Clarita, which your girl over here used to frequent all the time when she lived in Los Angeles. I even did their Thanksgiving Day event where you feed the turkeys.
Oh, wow.
And then you do a drum circle. It's fantastic. So this must be the Gentle Barn in North Carolina. But I would love to hear what your initial reaction was to cuddling a cow.
My initial reaction is, I am so happy for you that Al Jackson is not here to troll you. Congratulations.
I know Al would love cuddling a cow if I took him to the Gentle Barn. What did you two think?
What'd you think?
They said 3, so go for it.
Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, no,
Soak
we got
in it.
time, yeah.
Sit in it, sit.
Look, taking care of another animal takes the pressure off the sadness when you're really in it. So when they say get a plant, get a pet, get a turtle, get a fish, it's because you're taking care of something. Do I think this is fabulous? Yes, I do. Do I think I would want to cuddle with a cow? Moo! Yes, I would. I was trying to come up with a pun, but I didn't have it. I'm just saying, if you're really down and pills aren't working and you're really self-sabotaging, what a brilliantly safe and happy place to be. I'm all for it.
Okay, Jeff, would you take your kids to...
I should have went first.
What?
I should have went first.
Would you take your kids to... There's a place called
petting zoo? Yeah.
No, this is different.
I feel a little weird, like, you know, loving on a cow and then having a barbecue later. You know what I mean?
I get it, and that's...
So I don't know if I'd be
fair.
brushing the cow. It's like brushing my burger.
Change,
you know?
No, it does change people's minds.
Yeah.
Now, I have some pictures of me at the Gentle Barn as well as me at Broken Shovels. Broken Shovels is local. Oh, that's actually Bellevue Park, which I'm sure you've been to, Jeff. So
and they stink. They're not like that. Look, that's disgusting.
No, it's amazing.
It stinks in there.
We look at Mark's asleep. So that's at Broken Shovels, which is local here. And what you do is you cuddle the cows, you brush them. You can't see me there actually brushing one of the calves. Those calves are 4 months old. But let me tell you that, so people are like, oh my God, people are paying money. No. That fee is a donation to this foundation. And the foundation, what they do with it, and this is not a PSA, but I think it's important to Tori's point. Yeah. What they do in Los Angeles is they take children that have been abused and they do animal therapy with formerly abused farm animals, many of them about to be slaughtered, and they cathartically heal one another. The children and farm animals cathartically heal each other.
I can attest to the child element of that, especially when you have abused and neglected children. It is it's incredible to actually see abused and neglected animals. Like there is a connection.
There's a bond. The equine, the horses, when you have a kid, you have to treat it differently. It changes your brain into a different mode of I'm so sad, I'm so sad, I'm so sad.
Maybe we could do a group outing to Broken Shovels here.
I would be utterly for that.
A group, and film it?
Sure.
I have to support my family with this show, and I need it to go longer. If we're doing cow segments for 5 minutes and then taking a crew there.
Taking a what?
A crew?
Oh, we could use our cell phones. We don't have to take the crew there. Anywho, coming up on DBL.
Cool pig picture.
It was.
Okay. We have a very important segment coming up next. We are joined live by an activist shedding light on domestic violence within the LGBTQ plus community. He explains what makes these cases so different. So stay with us for that.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
Circle. It's
all right. Yeah, so Al Jackson, if you're watching at home, I wish you were here, buddy, because that's your dynamic with Sam is perfect for that segment. It went on a little bit too long. I was going to make a pun there. I was going to make that pun, but Tori's not here. So we're getting introduced. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask, and I guess you could keep this on camera.
Okay,
hey, Jure.
Oh, good.
So my question is, and tell me if this is okay, what makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? It's okay to say queer.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I get uncomfortable sometimes about proper vernacular and what I can and can't say.
As your local gay, I will say yes.
Yeah, there we go. And you know, you're my I always go to you.
I'm always just go-to. Yes, I'm everyone's go-to.
I know. I just like to make sure because sometimes things coming out of my mouth, I feel weird.
Also, another question he might ask is, what is Jure's Instagram? It's @Jure for the slay. So if he just want to drop that, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Ask him some questions. He's good.
Hey, how's it going on, Jure?
And he does. He answers all my questions.
I do.
I have a lot of questions like, Dre, so what do we think about this? I'm going to say this. And he's like, that's a good take. Maybe lean this way a little bit. I'm like, thanks, buddy.
Solid voice of reason, you know? Gotta make sure.
I love it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's it. Got a good segment coming up. Sam, you got some more cow stuff you want to share? Sam?
You want to plug the cow place?
Oh, the Gentle Barn. So apparently there's one in North Carolina. I believe there's one in Tennessee as well. And then the one that I used to go to is in Santa Clarita. And if you are in that area, do their Thanksgiving Day event because it's all about honoring local indigenous tribes and then feeding turkeys. You do a whole drum circle. It is the best thing ever.
We're out of time. But when you said turkey, we feed the turkeys and the drum circle?
Author Timothy McLemore is an activist who shares positive stories about gay men, including his own journey overcoming domestic abuse. He has a very important message, especially for the LGBTQ plus community, and it's also the title of his new book, Love is Not Abuse. Wow. Timothy is here live. We so appreciate you. Welcome to DBL, Timothy.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here because obviously this is a very important message. You didn't actually get the chance on your own terms to come out to your family. So how did you end up being outed?
Well, a previous relationship of mine that doesn't pertain to my book, once I ended the relationship due to his infidelities, he decided to be spiteful and tell my family members, my mother, my stepfather, and my uncle, all through via social media. Thankfully, it worked out good for me in the long run because my mother and my stepfather have been nothing but supportive. They're actually like my biggest cheerleaders. Mom is a momager now. So it worked out good for me, but for other people, that could be very dangerous. Some people's family may not be as accepting or open to that type of lifestyle.
Yeah, not how violating and also how potentially dangerous. I wanted to ask you this, and I know it's quite sensitive, but following that relationship, your partner physically abused you. Thank you for being open about this. What was your breaking point? Someone watching might really need to hear that answer.
My breaking point was when it was near lethal. For me, everything just snapped. And actually, after I got out of my relationship, I learned that a lot of these cases are unreported. Only 26% of near lethal domestic violence towards men is reported. And that's according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
So Timothy, you kind of just got on that topic right now. What makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? You were kind of leading on to that.
Yeah, it's unreported, honestly. There's not much awareness to it. And a lot of us are victims in many other ways, but domestic violence, especially amongst each other and intimate partner relationships, there's no guidelines, there's no awareness for us. And so I really want to make a change, and I really want to, tell people that love is not abuse.
That's amazing. All right, tell us also, what action should people take if they are or know someone in an abusive relationship? Again, speak right to that viewer.
Yeah, first of all, if you see something, say something, and that goes for everyone. If you see one of your friends are not acting like themselves, or you hear about the violence, say something, because the sooner that you raise their awareness that the relationship that they're in is not normal, the sooner they'll be able to leave that relationship. You also establish yourself as a resource for them when they're ready to get out of that relationship. Now, if you are currently in a domestic violent relationship, you need to start with a paper trail. I know we don't have the best relationship with our imperfect justice system with, the queer community, but we need a paper trail. You need to remove yourself from the situation, contact your authorities, and get a restraining order.
Wow. Timothy, what you're saying is saving lives.
Thank you.
And I know it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of courage, and I want to thank you. And I know for a fact that one of our viewers watching is either personally going through it, or to your point, the see something, say something. They know that they should probably do something. So where can we send our viewers who might need support to leave that abusive relationship?
Yes, you can follow my nonprofit organization, Essential Haus, Haus. I just recently started it. I just finished all the groundwork. We plan to open a queer shelter that's open to trans, bisexual, gay, lesbian. We really just want to help people get out of these relationships, whether they need housing assistance, job placement, educational resources.
So smart.
We just want to be there to make a change for them.
Timothy, I just wanted to circle back because you mentioned a paper trail, and a paper trail can come in a lot of different ways. So can you be a little bit more specific about having a paper trail so that you have something to corroborate when it's time to either go to the police or leave or get a restraining order?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. So in my case, personally, my previous partner that was abusive towards me, he was smaller than me. So when the police came, thanks to neighbors that called, when the police did come, they kind of had question marks, but here I am, I'm bleeding and everything, but they're just kind of like, defend yourself. And I just felt like it wasn't helpful. So I feel like having a paper trail, because eventually when he did go to jail after the 8th or 9th incident, when he did go to jail, all of those previous phone calls and reports helped in my case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Document.
Phone calls, text messages,
journals,
yeah.
and screenshots if you need to.
Right.
Anyway, it doesn't have to be
Photos,
paper. It's digital. You know what I mean?
Wow. You know what, Timothy, thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, DBL Nation, later this month, you can actually go and pick up a copy of Timothy's book, Love is Not Abuse. What a powerful statement and title. And you can get that on Amazon. We will be right back. Thank you, Timothy.
Thanks, Timothy.
Flexibility.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. This summer is looking to be the busiest travel season in years, and scammers are looking to cash in. Of course, it's time for Security Alert, sponsored by LifeLock. So cyber criminals are setting up fake Wi-Fi networks with very convincing names to get your information. Be careful when connecting at airports, cafe, and tourist spots. Also, if a deal sounds too good to be true, remember it most likely is. Be aware of emails or social posts, beware of them, that offer a great deal and then redirect you to another website. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock makes it easy to protect yourself from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-953-0836 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked Verify viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several Verify viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up, 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Before we go, we want to give a shout out to the man. Is that Harrison Ford? He is the man. He turns 80 today. According to The Guardian, he's Hollywood's last great movie star. Of course, he's known for playing iconic roles like Han Solo in the Star Wars movies and is set to reprise his role as Indiana Jones in a new film. Other classics include The Fugitive, Air Force One, Patriot Games. Happy birthday, Mr. Ford.
Get off my plane.
I felt that.
Yeah, he's just like, you wanted him to be the president. I mean, that's the guy. With the little earring.
You think he still has that earring?
I think so.
I think he still rocks it, huh?
I think he rocks it.
Off
Still
camera?
with Callista Flockhart. How cute are they?
I know. Still flying his own little planes.
I got some comments.
Wow, so that cow story, huh?
Ray's V-Vibe. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was about this one. Donnie wanted to write in, and I appreciate this. He says, I want to thank DBL for bringing the segment with Timothy McLemore. It was a very important one at this and on the show, and it's another reason why I love this show. And you make sure every community is brought into this community, and I really into the conversation. I appreciated that a lot. And then Twin78 said, Ashanti gets the MVP today for her presence at DBL.
Yes, yes. You know, I interviewed Ashanti 15 years ago. Wow. So it's really amazing. Like, it almost makes me emotional to see some of these women like Sierra and, you know, I mean, there's so many, I can't name all of them. Yeah. But to see how they've stayed in the game and like it's awesome.
My apologies too when I mentioned the Ashanti song. I sang a Jennifer Lopez song. Yeah. Thank God I didn't say that to her.
How could you? That would have been embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
See you guys tomorrow.
Where hope finds help. Where courage meets conviction. Where makers make fans. We are Tegna, a family of local and national media brands that bring us together, serving the greater good of our communities. Where national know-how backs local business. Be in good company with Tegna.
I know you lying. You are wrong as all get out.
Be honest about what you are, but don't get tough when BLM protesters are walking down the street.
I don't know how much time we have, but I'm about to go on this rampage really quick. Okay, 1 minute.
Who are you?
I'm Tori. Oh. I thought everyone knew. Sorry.
Don't you respect my opinions as well? I have to respect yours. Can't you respect mine? Raise the roof.
Yes.
Embarrassing. Yeah. DBL is all new every day.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A Capitol rioter testifies that he was just following Trump's orders.
The president, got everybody riled up, told everybody head on down.
Is this direct evidence that the former president is to blame for the insurrection? More outrage as surveillance video of the Uvalde school shooting shows the delayed response by police. What exactly happened in the minutes before they went after the shooter? Grammy award-winning multi-platinum singer Ashanti will be here live. Plus, all the reactions to this year's Emmy nominations, from This Is Us getting majorly snubbed to a special moment of celebration for Cheryl Lee Ralph after 50 years in the biz.
You got nominated?
Oh my God!
You nominated?
Yes!
Love it!
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Excuse me, I'm already reading the comments. You guys are fired up, so we're going to dive right in. A lot of you are clearly talking about yesterday's January 6th hearing that focused on former President Trump and his responsibility for the riot at the Capitol. Now, one of the men to testify was a Trump supporter from Ohio who described himself as, quote unquote, nothing but a family man and a working man, who says he was upset by the president's claim the election was stolen. So here's what he said about why he came to D.C. and ended up on Capitol grounds.
So why'd you decide to march to the Capitol?
Basically, the president, got everybody riled up, told everybody head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
Okay, so that man pleaded guilty last month. He does face up to a year in prison. We want to hear from our panel. We want to hear from you. After hearing that testimony, does this prove that our former president led these people? And is Trump responsible for all that happened? What would you say, Jeff?
There's a lot to break down. That's what I have to say. We have to take these into chunks and different conversations. If we're focusing on this man right now, do you want to talk about this man or do you want to talk about the president?
I think they're hand in hand.
Okay, well, this man, I'm going to talk about this man right now. This man, I don't know if he's making excuses for what he did or if he's trying to rectify what he did. Like, looking back, hindsight's 2020, what I did was wrong, right? I like that perspective. I don't know what he's saying. Is he trying to get out of what he did? Because no matter who's responsible, he's responsible for his own actions. And I'm speaking to him directly, not the president. What he did, he is responsible for. If you storm the Capitol with weapons, intention trying to breach the Capitol,
right,
you have to pay the piper. It's time for you to do what you need to do. Now, if you want to talk about the president and if he's responsible, we could have that conversation. But I was speaking for him in general.
Well, I think he speaks for a lot of people, right? He isn't part of the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers. He's the every guy. And he said he was obsessed with social media. And he said he followed Trump over and over again. And what's interesting to me is I think both can be true. He is been accused and convicted of seditious conspiracy. He's going to spend time in jail or probation. But the person in charge who's inciting that riot, which the January 6th committee is trying to prove, is saying that had Trump said, we would have called it off, that guy would have left a lot earlier. They were simply listening to a leader who bears a lot of responsibility for lying about an election being stolen. And when you lie and you have a cult of personality, they're going to believe you. So there was a draft tweet that they found at the hearings. This is what Trump had approved but never sent out. I'll be making a speech at 10 a.m. January 6th. Please arrive early. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol after. Stop the steal. This seems premeditated, deliberate, organized. This is a coup that started before January 6th. And if you have a group of people that are going to listen to everything you say, and you say, let's go, and you can bring your weapons, that's what they'll do. He never brought a weapon in. I'm glad that he apologized. I still think he was an insurrectionist, and he has to pay the piper, like you said.
In the court of law, though, would this be up for interpretation? Now we're talking about President Donald Trump.
Right.
Did he incite the riots? Is he to blame? If you had 14 people on a jury, which this is
12.
Or 12, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not one of those, right? It's a testimony with the panel.
This is just what they found.
Right. There's no defense, right? So if you did have all that, this is the question that I'm posing just to see the other side. If there was 12 people on a jury, would these tweets or would whatever you just showed and all the other information, would that lead up to 12 people saying, Yes. He didn't really say that, but yes, he incited that. I think he needs to go to prison. That's the question. That's the question.
Well, even if it's not prison, though, can I just throw this out there? The fact that, he was at one point, there was an impeachment hearing. Obviously, the system failed, if that's the way you want to view it. However, if he's proven that this was seditious conspiracy, that will prevent him from running again.
And I think that's what this is all about, to be perfectly honest. I posed the question about jail time. I personally don't think he's going to see jail time. I think this is all all for him not running in 2024, because if he's convicted of a felony, he cannot run in 2024, but I still don't think he'll see prison time.
I want to get to the next beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think this investigation, especially yesterday, if you haven't watched it, showed a direct link into the big lie, into what I want, into I'll be there at the Capitol with you, into I want you to march in and it's okay if you have weapons. To me, that's a pretty long link. It's all up to the Department of Justice now. So wait for the ending, but I think they've made a pretty clear case. Is it up for debate? Absolutely.
So you brought up the Oath Keepers, that this gentleman was not. However, another person did testify who was a former Oath Keeper, who was actually the communications director for the extremist group. Here's what he said about his view of what happened that particular day on January 6th.
I think we need to quit mincing words and just talk about truths. And what it was going to be was an armed revolution. I mean, people died that day. This could have been the spark that started a new civil war, and no one would have won there.
Wow. So now a quick note. He was incorrect when he said that officers died that day, although multiple officers died in the days and months following the riot. But what do you think of his testimony, Erica? And I just want to say, too, the fact that we were so close, according to someone that was in on the ground floor, communications director, to a civil war, doesn't right now put everything aside to you, put all your politics aside. We have to prevent the precedent, because this could happen again with worse results.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it so ironic that a lot of this is coming up and coming through social media. And social media is an amazing tool to galvanize. It's also an amazing tool to throw the grenade and hide your hands. You have people who, and I'm just going to be very clear about this because there's been some talk about the people who have testified. People are not necessarily grounded in reality out there. And there are parties, and I'm saying like parties as in people, who are dependent upon people not being grounded in reality. If you go walk outside and say the sky is blue, and they can walk right out there and be like, actually, it's a hot pink, and everyone's like, yes, we all agree it's a hot pink. That's what's happening right now. Like no one is participating in the same reality. So the idea that this isn't like a cult following thing, and we've talked to a lot of cult survivors, it's dependent on people who aren't grounded and rooted in reality, and that is a very generous assessment of what's happening. They're also going to be your foot soldiers, because when you have less to lose, you have a lot more to gain. So when people have nothing and they've lost their hope, and they have someone who is charismatic and saying, I see you when the rest of the world is ignoring you. I know that you deserve these things because it's your birthright. And they're saying, no one has ever said this to me before. So of course they're going to do whatever you say. But the idea of hiding your hands, that's why the string, like what you were talking about earlier, Tori, that's why it's important to connect the dots. Because if this group of people can do it, any group of people can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make a correction. It
Final
wasn't
thought, yes.
seditious conspiracy, was disorderly conduct. I wanted to make that clear for heirs.
Thank you. Wow. Well, we will be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
I know. He and I this morning were talking about how let's keep it super calm at 10:30, so if there is a debate, that'll happen at noon. We were like, boy, our plan really worked.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking about the noon viewer.
Anyways,
they don't know what happened.
go for it, T-Bone. Shine.
Yeah, that was a great point. And my question to you, Erica, is when you say they're not grounded in reality, is that on them when it comes to the riots?
Yep.
Does the leader of that group have responsibility for what they say?
The leader of the group absolutely has a responsibility, simply because they're dependent upon that group of people not being grounded in reality.
Right.
That's how cults work.
That's how cults work. That's how the Taliban works. That's how a lot of these groups work. They take the disenfranchised and they give them, there's a very powerful, I forget where I saw the quote, dying for something to live for. You can break that down because it's double entendre. You can break it down. Just think about that. Someone is dying for something to live for. They've got nothing to lose. And you're right, Erica, like it's really scary. And what gave me chills when I watched the hearings yesterday is hearing that guy say pretty much how close we were to a civil war.
Yeah, he was like, we wanted it. Yeah, and I don't know if you know, but like Cassidy Hutchinson, one of the aides, said when Trump went into the Beast or the limo, after leaving that morning, he's like, let's go to the Capitol. I want to go to the Capitol. He had a surprised event to go to them, right? And they drove off and said it's not safe. He reached over and tried to grab the steering wheel and then reached for the throat of his bodyguard who said, we cannot go to the Capitol. There's too many people armed. So that shows you someone who's not obeying any of the laws or transfer of power. So it's a really interesting discussion. And I know what you mean. Is there enough proof? Is there enough proof? Let me know what you think.
Erica, somebody wrote,
This is a really tough story. So we are finally seeing video from inside Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman killed 21 people. And let me tell you, it's causing a lot of outrage at the police response. So a warning to our viewers, these images are disturbing and you can hear gunshots. So the video shows police showing up within 3 minutes of the gunman entering the school. But after taking fire, the police are seen retreating, running back down the hallway where they essentially waited for the next 70 minutes. Also caught on video was police restraining a fellow deputy who wanted to storm the room. He is a father of one of the children that was killed. The video also shows that an officer stopped to use some hand sanitizer. The officers also checked their phones. So how are the parents of the victims taking this? Well, there's a lot of outrage, but some parents are relieved that they're at least getting some transparency, while others are upset that the video was released without them being able to see it first. Let's start with the police officers. Jeff, as a parent, can you imagine your child being in there and then this is the lackadaisical response that you see?
I saw this yesterday, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, did that man just get hand sanitizer? Did that man just check his phone? If I were that officer wanting to storm and they held me back and that officer got hand sanitizer right in front of me, I would have punched him directly in the face. This is abhorrent. I don't even know the word for this. They knew this the minute it came out. They had those videos hours later, and they come up with this story of what happened and why. They had the manpower. They had shields. They had guns. They had people ready to go. They sat there for 70 minutes when there was children of your community in there. Listen, I didn't even take an oath. I'm not a police officer. I would have been like, give me that gun. I'm going in, my kid's in there. You have a gun and your kid's in there? How do you think that officer feels? What do you do if you see them at a diner in your community and you're like, you're the guy who put hand sanitizer on?
I know.
It really, I lose my temper a lot, and this one really, really gets me.
It is like, Jeff, honestly, same thing. All the hand sanitizer in the world is not going to wash the blood off your hands, my G, okay?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what we're talking to and what we're having our children do is prepare for this said very exact event. We have our children in America doing active shooter drills with police officers who don't know how to frickin' respond. Are you serious? Are you serious? You have 5-year-olds, 5-year-olds who know what to do. That was the most chilling thing when I told you my mom was in lockdown at an elementary school. And she's like, it was so chilling because it was silence and these children knew exactly how to move and what to do.
Yeah.
The children know exactly how to move in an active shooter situation and the police don't?
Yeah.
Like, this is this system can't even be fixed. The mayor. It needs to be taken down completely and dismantled.
And I just want to piggyback on her point, Tori, on the fact that the police officers obviously did not know what to do, but there's a whole nother layer to this because those police officers did go to training.
What training do you need, Sam, when your child is in there and you have guns and manpower and someone's in there actively shooting and you hear bullets? What kind of training do you need, Sam? What do you do?
Well,
you go in there.
If you have a lack of moral character, which I don't like saying about police officers since they put their lives at risk every day, but not this department, there's a lack of moral character.
There's also that's criminal negligence. That's manslaughter. You could be held accountable.
Are they going to be held accountable? I sure hope so.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Wow. Whew. Well, we are definitely going to change gears. We all need it. I know we've started with some very heavy topics, but we do have, you guys are going to love this, Ashanti. Ashanti, I'm sorry, I love her. We'll be here live. We're going to chat with the R&B star in just 2 minutes, so stay with us. We're going to exhale, and we're going to have a nice little Ashanti talk.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. The hit song Rock With You, and here to rock with us live, the chart-topping R&B singer and songwriter, Ashanti.
Ashanti, hey sis. Okay, so I understand. I am wonderful, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
You look amazing. I mean, it's not cracking at all. Okay, so let's talk about when you were a kid, because this is really how it all started. You used to sing while you did household chores. So how did that lead to a career in music, and what were you singing at that time?
Ooh.
So funny. I was singing Reminisce by Mary J. Blige while I was vacuuming. I started doing local talent shows at the Boys and Girls Club. I won a few times, and then I started doing bigger auditions with bigger labels, and I kind of ended up here.
I love it. I don't know if you were listening, Ashanti, when we were talking. It was pretty heavy, but Ashanti is my new safe word. Yeah, my new Ashanti. Yeah, whenever things get difficult, I'm gonna be like, guys, Ashanti, and everyone's gonna get in the line.
I love that.
You're his Prozac.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's. I love this question. You met Biggie Smalls early on in your career. Everything, all the documentaries they still put out to this day, I watched. What do you remember most about meeting Biggie?
I remember I was so excited. And I was so young, and he was the first person to call me Shorty. He's like, "What's your name, Shorty?" You know, and he wrote my name. You know, the headshots back in the day. He had a black and white headshot. He gave me an autograph, and I was like, "Yes, Mom, look what I got." I was very excited.
Oh my God, I had so many of those black and white headshots I did nothing with, hundreds of them, right?
Why did you have them?
Because I tried to, right? You had to print hundreds of them. Anyway, your collaboration with Lorenz Tate for the Rain on Me music video left a very powerful impact on listeners. But I want to know for you personally, Ashanti, why was it a step outside of your comfort zone?
You know, when I heard the beat, that is the concept that came to my mind. I don't even know why or how come. I remember being in a limo back in the day on the way to a book signing, and they just kept playing the beat, and that was just the concept that came to me.
Wow.
And it felt so real and so organic. And although I had never experienced that, I knew a few people that have gone through really, really horrible situations. So I knew that it would resonate, and it was something different than a lot of my peers were talking about. So I took the opportunity to use my platform to bring light to that, you know, because I'm a female, and, you know, I love guys too, but I love females, and I wanted to kind of, you know, shed a little bit of light on that, because a lot of women were dealing with that silently. You know?
It was important.
It really was.
It really was. Okay, so we got to also talk about the fact that you are Hello Beautiful's cover star.
Yeah.
And performing for their look at you. You look amazing. Also performing for their Interludes live series to, of course, celebrate 20 years, you guys, since her debut album. That's crazy. So, Ashanti, in all that time, when did you feel the proudest?
Honestly, I think I felt and feel the proudest when I get interactions with my fans and they talk about how my music has changed their lives or helped them out of a situation, or, you know, if I see my name tatted on someone or my face tatted on a fan and they talk about how, you know, the music is therapeutic and the love is just so real. For me, that's just like, it's so priceless. You know, I'm a very humble person. I'm like, you know, I'm your average younger Long Islander, you know what I mean? I'm super down to earth, you know? So when I see things like that, it resonates with me and it makes me feel really proud. You know, it's a blessing to have like Grammys and, you know, American Music Awards and Billboard. Those are all super cool. But when I'm able to like have one-on-one and these reactions and these fans telling me their stories, and again, like having my face tatted on you is like, it's so bizarre. So those are like the proud moments.
That's amazing. Perspective, complete perspective.
Thanks for changing the energy too. I feel so
We
good.
needed you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
Ashanti, thank you so much for chatting with us. You can watch her perform some of her greatest hits on Hello Beautiful's Interludes Live, premiering July 17th on TV1. We'll be right back. Thanks, Ashanti.
Thank you.
See, my days are cold without you. Little haze, yeah. And know my heart can't take no more. I keep on running back to you. See, my days are cold
Promotional
without
consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked Verify viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several Verify viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up. 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Ashanti says.
That's right.
We're talking about how amazing Ashanti is and like her perspective of like when your viewers see you and you actually help them through a moment in their lives, that's what matters.
I wanted to do a little karaoke Ja Rule with her if we had some time. Yeah. She was we were in a totally different vibe, you know what I mean? But I was being like, ain't that funny? I wanted her to get into that a little bit.
Jeff,
Erica, you were here for it.
We're gonna have to cool Jeff down, okay? Jeff's a little hot under the collar.
She got me worked up. I was excited.
Okay, welcome back to tease. We have something wrong with the prompter.
We'll see you guys in a bit.
If you guys are leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, Daily Blast Live, or our app. But if you get the second half of the show where you are, here's what's ahead. Emmy noms are in. We're sharing the best reactions of stars hearing their nomination news, and the LGBTQ plus community is no exception to domestic violence. We're joined live by an activist shedding light on this important issue.
Actor Brad Pitt is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. While you would probably never forget meeting him, he says he probably won't remember you, but don't take it personally. Pitt told GQ he thinks he suffers from prosopagnosia, or face blindness. After his interview, Google searches about the condition spiked. So, let's verify. Is face blindness a real condition? Our sources are the National Institutes of Health, the UK's National Health Service, Baptist Health Hospital, and Brad Duchesne, co-founder of faceblind.org. All of our sources say, yes, face blindness is a real condition. Duchesne tells us people with face blindness don't just have trouble recognizing acquaintances, but they might struggle to recognize a family member or a close friend, or sometimes even their own face in the mirror. In some cases, face blindness occurs after a brain injury, like a stroke, and a person can sometimes relearn how to recognize faces. In other cases, face blindness is genetic, with potentially up to 1 in 50 people who may have developmental prosopagnosia, which progressively gets worse and can't be cured.
They don't have difficulty with facial identity due to, say, early vision problems. They don't have a problem with their eye. And they also don't have high level cognitive problems. So it's a problem specifically with the mechanisms in our brain that are important for visual recognition.
Duchesne says some people with face blindness cope with the disorder by learning to recognize other features, like hair, how a person speaks, or even their teeth. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. So the Emmy noms came out yesterday, and shows like Succession, Squid Game, and Ted Lasso scored dozens of nominations. But let's focus on the stars who had some pretty epic reactions to making the cut. So first, Sydney Sweeney got emotional on the phone with her mom after being nominated twice, one for her role in Euphoria and another for The White Lotus. Watch.
Congratulations!
Oh, and after 50 years in the biz, friend of the show, Cheryl Lee Ralph, did not hold back. She was nominated for her work on Abbott Elementary. Watch.
Oh my God!
You got nominated?
Oh my God!
You nominated?
Yes!
Love it!
Oh my
Yes!
I have goosebumps. Oh my gosh. But there were some snubs as well. Jennifer Aniston was not nominated for The Morning Show, but her co-star Reese Witherspoon was. Blackish stars Anthony Anderson and Tracee Ellis Ross were left off the list. This is star Mandy Moore also reacted to her show being snubbed in all major categories. And on Instagram, she wrote, "Do I wish our show was recognized in what I think was its finest hour? Sure, but nothing can take away what our show meant to so many." Erica, what did you think of the noms and the snubs?
Miss Cheryl,
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years in the industry. It's been so well deserved for so long, and I am so happy to see her get her due. There were, in terms of the snubs, I think both Blackish and This Is Us for their final seasons really came through. I know that Sterling K. Brown was very adamant about Mandy Moore getting a nomination, and I can understand the reasons why. To play those different, say the same character in different decades, for all that there was a lot of complexity in that. But overall, the story's Cheryl. The story is Miss
Cheryl. I love it. She deserves it. What? What was that?
Were we going to keep going?
I don't know, but you made a fish face. What was that?
there was a pause, and we know like to jump on those pauses, but you were going to the next story. I thought we were going to say a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's not important.
Oh, wow.
I was going to talk about the dynamic of Reese Witherspoon getting one, not Jennifer Aniston. But I guess we're done with that.
I love you. Okay, so there is a new couple alert, maybe. Bradley Cooper is reportedly dating former Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin. According to Page Six, Bradley and Huma have been an item for a few months. They both attended the Met Gala in May, but arrived separately. Vogue editor Anna Wintour reportedly played matchmaker and introduced them. Huma was married to disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Tori. Sorry. Okay, Tori just made a sound effect. Sorry. And we all know Anthony Weiner went to prison for sending inappropriate texts to a 15-year-old girl.
Multiple different problems.
Multiple different problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see her move on from Anthony Weiner.
Glad? I am elated. Where's my camera? Is that you? Is that you?
That's
you. Okay. I would just like for every man and woman out there who has been scorned by little wieners all over the world to understand that this is the comeback story, okay? Huma is graceful and elegant and intelligent and dynamic. And she was held back for all those years by this little wiener who wanted to send his little wiener to little kids, okay? We all make mistakes, but in the end, it is the story. It is the comeback story for your relationship. So I am praying this is true, and he better be treating her good, because listen, there is somebody out there for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a comeback relationship story for all of us.
Y'all aren't going to follow that, are you?
I don't want to.
I didn't even make a sound.
Not one
She
sound.
made a sound effect.
No, I just was like, woo! I'm not following that. It was very good.
Okay, so are you guys looking for the perfect birthday gift for a 4-year-old? How about some cold hard cash? On Sunday, Cardi B and her husband Offset celebrated their 4-year-old daughter's birthday with a trip to Candytopia and $50,000 in cash. Take a look.
What you say? What is that?
It's a ticket. A ticket is $1 million, girl. That's 50. Say 50.
I'm sure that they put it like in her bank account.
For sure.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of things there. One, I didn't know what $50,000 looked like. I had no idea. You know what
I didn't either.
I thought it would have been like a briefcase or something. And a ticket? A ticket's $1 million?
I guess.
Willy Wonka ticket. I don't know what a ticket is. Anyways, you're right. I think this is just, they're just doing this for a little show. This is no different than growing up. My grandma used to give me bonds. Not a ticket's worth, but just a bond. But I mean, that's no different than that. I'm sure right after they filmed, they're like, give me that cash. And like they gave it security and off to the bank or whatever.
Yeah. For college fund, whatever it may be.
Does it feel like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's weird to give a kid that much, like a child that much cash. I don't want to talk about anyone's wallet, but did it feel weird to anyone else?
It felt like a little gimmick to me. I saw it for what it was.
Yeah.
What do you think, Erica?
I think people should do whatever they want with their children. Well, I mean, Sorry.
Erica.
Sorry. I mean,
Erica.
if you want to give your child something, I mean, at least you
That's your camera over there.
Y'all know what I meant, okay?
We did.
They're showing up for their child. They want to give their child $50,000. Give the child $50,000. I'm not a parent. I don't know. At least they doing something for the child.
Okay. Oh, good. We get to talk about the cow.
Now I know why you were flying through the stories. Now it makes sense.
All right.
We got a cow story. Let's make some time at the end.
Move over, folks.
So some people are flocking to a farm in North Carolina just to cuddle with cows. So Mountain Horse Farm is offering people the chance to cuddle, embrace, talk with, or even groom two of their cows, Bonnie and Bella, of course. The farm's owner says whether people are suffering from depression, anxiety, or loneliness, the cows at the Gentle Barn. Oh, wait, this is the Gentle Barn? I go to the Gentle Barn. Okay, this is amazing. I thought this was a random farm. The Gentle Barn is a whole...
Well known, yeah.
Well known. Yes. They have one in Santa Clarita, which your girl over here used to frequent all the time when she lived in Los Angeles. I even did their Thanksgiving Day event where you feed the turkeys.
Oh, wow.
And then you do a drum circle. It's fantastic. So this must be the Gentle Barn in North Carolina. But I would love to hear what your initial reaction was to cuddling a cow.
My initial reaction is, I am so happy for you that Al Jackson is not here to troll you. Congratulations.
I know Al would love cuddling a cow if I took him to the Gentle Barn. What did you two think?
What'd you think?
They said 3, so go for it.
Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, no, we got time, yeah.
Sit in it, sit.
Look, taking care of another animal takes the pressure off the sadness when you're really in it. So when they say get a plant, get a pet, get a turtle, get a fish, it's because you're taking care of something. Do I think this is fabulous? Yes, I do. Do I think I would want to cuddle with a cow? Moo! Yes, I would. I was trying to come up with a pun, but I didn't have it. I'm just saying, if you're really down and pills aren't working and you're really self-sabotaging, what a brilliantly safe and happy place to be. I'm all for it.
Okay, Jeff, would you take your kids to...
I should have went first.
What?
I should have went first.
Would you take your kids to... There's a place called Broken...
petting zoo? Yeah.
No, this is different.
I feel a little weird, like, loving on a cow and then having a barbecue later. You know what I mean?
I get it. And that's...
So I don't know if I'd be
fair.
brushing the cow. It's like brushing my burger.
No, it does change people's minds.
Yeah.
Now, I have some pictures of me at the Gentle Barn as well as me at Broken Shovels. Broken Shovels is local. Oh, that's actually Bellevue Park, which I'm sure you've been to, Jeff. So
and they stink. They're not like that. Look, that's disgusting.
No, it's amazing.
It stinks in there.
We look at Mark's asleep. So that's at Broken Shovels, which is local here. And what you do is you cuddle the cows, you brush them. You can't see me there actually brushing one of the calves. Those calves are 4 months old. But let me tell you that, so people are like, oh my God, people are paying money. No. That fee is a donation to this foundation. And the foundation, what they do with it, and this is not a PSA, but I think it's important to Tori's point. Yeah. What they do in Los Angeles is they take children that have been abused and they do animal therapy with formerly abused farm animals, many of them about to be slaughtered, and they cathartically heal one another. The children and farm animals cathartically heal each other.
I can attest to the child element of that, especially when you have abused and neglected children. It is it's incredible to actually see abused and neglected animals. Like there is a connection.
There's a bond. The equine, the horses, when you have a kid, you have to treat it differently. It changes your brain into a different mode of I'm so sad, I'm so sad, I'm so sad.
Maybe we could do a group outing to Broken Shovels here.
I would be utterly for that.
And film it?
Sure.
I have to support my family with this show, and I need it to go longer. If we're doing cow segments for 5 minutes and then taking a crew there.
Taking a what?
A crew?
Oh, we could use our cell phones. We don't have to take the crew there. Anywho, coming up on DBL.
Cool pig picture.
It was.
Okay. We have a very important segment coming up next. We are joined live by an activist shedding light on domestic violence within the LGBTQ plus community. He explains what makes these cases so different. So stay with us for that.
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
Circle. It's
all right. Yeah, so Al Jackson, if you're watching at home, I wish you were here, buddy, because that's your dynamic with Sam is perfect for that segment. It went on a little bit too long. I was going to make a pun there. I was going to make that pun, but Tori's not here. So we're getting introduced. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask, and I guess you could keep this on camera. Hey, Dre.
Oh, good.
So my question is, and tell me if this is okay, what makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? It's okay to say queer.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I get uncomfortable sometimes about proper vernacular and what I can and can't say.
As your local gay, I will say yes.
Yeah, there we go. And you know, you're my I always go.
I'm always just go-to. Yeah, I'm everyone's go-to.
I know. I just like to make sure because sometimes things coming out of my mouth, I feel weird.
Also, another question he might ask is, what is Jere's Instagram? It's @Jere for the slay. So if you just want to drop that, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Ask him some questions. He's good.
Hey, how's it going on, Jere?
And he does. He answers all my questions.
I do.
I have a lot of questions like, Dre, so what do we think about this? I'm going to say this. And he's like, that's a good take. Maybe lean this way a little bit. I'm like, thanks, buddy.
Solid voice of reason, you know? Gotta make sure.
I love it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's it. Got a good segment coming up. Sam, you got some more cow stuff you want to share? Sam?
You want to plug the cow place?
Oh, the Gentle Barn. So apparently there's one in North Carolina. I believe there's one in Tennessee as well. And then the one that I used to go to is in Santa Clarita. And if you are in that area, do their Thanksgiving Day event because it's all about honoring local indigenous tribes and then feeding turkeys. You do a whole drum circle. It is the best thing
we're
ever.
out of time. But when you said turkey, we feed the turkeys and the drum circle?
Author Timothy McLemore is an activist who shares positive stories about gay men, including his own journey overcoming domestic abuse. He has a very important message, especially for the LGBTQ plus community, and it's also the title of his new book, Love is Not Abuse. Wow. Timothy is here live. We so appreciate you. Welcome to DBL, Timothy.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here because obviously this is a very important message. You didn't actually get the chance on your own terms to come out to your family. So how did you end up being outed?
Well, a previous relationship of mine that doesn't pertain to my book, once I ended the relationship due to his infidelities, he decided to be spiteful and tell my family members, my mother, my stepfather, and my uncle, all through via social media. Thankfully, it worked out good for me in the long run because my mother and my stepfather have been nothing but supportive. They're actually like my biggest cheerleaders. Mom is a momager now. So it worked out good for me, but for other people, that could be very dangerous. Some people's family may not be as accepting or open to that type of lifestyle.
Yeah, not how violating and also how potentially dangerous. I wanted to ask you this, and I know it's quite sensitive, but following that relationship, your partner physically abused you. Thank you for being open about this. What was your breaking point? Someone watching might really need to hear that answer.
My breaking point was when it was near lethal. For me, everything just snapped. And actually, after I got out of my relationship, I learned that a lot of these cases are unreported. Only 26% of near lethal domestic violence towards men is reported. And that's according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
So Timothy, you kind of just got on that topic right now. What makes domestic abuse in the queer community different? You were kind of leading on to that.
Yeah, it's unreported, honestly. There's not much awareness to it. And a lot of us are victims in many other ways, but domestic violence, especially amongst each other and intimate partner relationships, there's no guidelines, there's no awareness for us. And so I really want to make a change, and I really want to, tell people that love is not abuse.
That's amazing. All right, tell us also, what action should people take if they are or know someone in an abusive relationship? Again, speak right to that viewer.
Yeah, first of all, if you see something, say something, and that goes for everyone. If you see one of your friends are not acting like themselves, or you hear about the violence, say something, because the sooner that you raise their awareness that the relationship that they're in is not normal, the sooner they'll be able to leave that relationship. You also establish yourself as a resource for them when they're ready to get out of that relationship. Now, if you are currently in a domestic violent relationship, you need to start with a paper trail. I know we don't have the best relationship with our imperfect justice system with, the queer community, but we need a paper trail. You need to remove yourself from the situation, contact your authorities, and get a restraining order.
Wow. Timothy, what you're saying is saving lives.
Thank you.
And I know it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of courage, and I want to thank you. And I know for a fact that one of our viewers watching is either personally going through it, or to your point, the see something, say something. They know that they should probably do something. So where can we send our viewers who might need support to leave that abusive relationship?
Yes, you can follow my nonprofit organization, Essential Haus, Haus. I just recently started it. I just finished all the groundwork. We plan to open a queer shelter that's open to trans, bisexual, gay, lesbian. We really just want to help people get out of these relationships, whether they need housing assistance, job placement, educational resources.
So smart.
We just want to be there to make a change for them.
Timothy, I just wanted to circle back because you mentioned a paper trail, and a paper trail can come in a lot of different ways. So can you be a little bit more specific about having a paper trail so that you have something to corroborate when it's time to either go to the police or leave or get a restraining order?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. So in my case, personally, my previous partner that was abusive towards me, he was smaller than me. So when the police came, thanks to neighbors that called, when the police did come, they kind of had question marks, but here I am, I'm bleeding and everything, but they're just kind of like, defend yourself. And I just felt like it wasn't helpful. So I feel like having a paper trail, because eventually when he did go to jail after the 8th or 9th incident, when he did go to jail, all of those previous phone calls and reports helped in my case.
Yeah. Wow. Document.
Phone calls, text messages, journals,
and screenshots if you need to.
Right.
Anyway, it doesn't have to be paper. It's digital. You know what I mean?
Wow. You know what, Timothy, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In fact, DBL Nation, later this month, you can actually go and pick up a copy of Timothy's book, Love is Not Abuse. What a powerful statement and title. And you can get that on Amazon. We will be right back. Thank you, Timothy.
Thanks, Timothy.
Flexibility.
The sound of a car starting. We don't think much of it until one day we go to start the engine and nothing happens, making us feel, well, just like this. And if you're anything like me, this only happens when you're running late in the dead of winter. But for Verify viewers Mia and Julia, they're wondering if they should be concerned about dead batteries in the summer. So let's verify. Is the summer weather worse for car batteries than winter? Our sources are AAA, Jiffy Lube of Southern California, and Firestone. AAA says heat is the #1 culprit of battery failure. It estimates drivers in the coldest parts of the U.S. will need to replace their batteries about every 5 years, but batteries in the warmest parts of the country will need replacement after about 3.5 years. Jiffy Lube says heat is particularly tough on batteries because it can cause battery fluid to evaporate, which can lessen its ability to hold the charge over time. Firestone explains the evaporating fluid can also speed up the corrosion process. So, yes, the summer weather is worse for car batteries than the winter. Since the damage happens slowly over time, your battery may not give out on you until months later, at the most inopportune time. Firestone recommends parking in the shade or in a garage to help extend the life of your battery because it keeps your car cooler. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is all new every day. This summer is looking to be the busiest travel season in years, and scammers are looking to cash in. Of course, it's time for Security Alert, sponsored by LifeLock. So cyber criminals are setting up fake Wi-Fi networks with very convincing names to get your information. Be careful when connecting at airports, cafe, and tourist spots. Also, if a deal sounds too good to be true, remember it most likely is. Be aware of emails or social posts, beware of them, that offer a great deal and then redirect you to another website. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock makes it easy to protect yourself from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-953-0836 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Summer is underway, and that means hot temperatures across the nation, along with thunderstorms. So we asked Verify viewers to send us questions about storm safety tips they've learned over the years, and took them straight to these sources. First, were you ever told as a kid to count the seconds between the flash and the boom to figure out how far away a lightning strike is? So let's verify. Does each second really mean a storm is a mile away? We'll need to do some math here, but don't worry. The Weather Service says the sound of thunder takes 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if you see a lightning strike and it takes 5 seconds to hear thunder, then the lightning is 1 mile away. If it takes 10 seconds, then the strike was 2 miles away. So no, each second between lightning and thunder does not mean the lightning is 1 mile away. It's actually 1 mile for every 5 seconds. And regardless, our experts say if you can hear the thunder, then it's time to head indoors.
It's kind of the storm's warning shot sometimes that, hey, this is what's coming.
All right, let's say the storm looked and sounded really close. Several Verify viewers asked us, will lightning always strike the highest point? So let's verify. Generally, our experts say lightning will strike the tallest point, but it depends on what's nearby. If you're next to a giant building with a sophisticated lightning rod system, then that'll probably get hit. If you're standing next to a single tree in an empty field, then you may be more at risk. This is because lightning is always looking for the least resistant path to the ground, which could mean hitting a shorter object or even the ground itself. Since there's no way to predict this ahead of time, it's best to just head for safety when you see lightning. So, no, lightning does not always strike the highest point, and it's safest to just make sure you're not the tallest object during a storm. Okay, finally, let's say you counted the seconds and realized a storm is on the way, and you're now safely indoors. What now? Amanda asked us if you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. This question may seem a little far-fetched, but our experts say there are rare cases where lightning can travel through metal piping. This can carry an electrical charge to anyone using water, whether it's in the shower, doing dishes, or even on the toilet.
There are 10 and 20 cases every year. I did look this up, 10 to 20 cases every year that people report being electrocuted while in their bathtub or inside their home. So while it's not likely, it's very possible. It could happen.
Even people with plastic piping should think twice about using water during a storm. The CDC says since water is a conductor of electricity, plastic pipes can also carry a charge. So yes, you should avoid taking a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. We answered even more of your questions about lightning and thunderstorms on our website, verifythis.com, and explained how lightning is even formed in the first place. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Before we go, we want to give a shout out to the man. What is that, Harrison Ford? He is the man. He turns 80 today. According to The Guardian, he's Hollywood's last great movie star. Of course, he's known for playing iconic roles like Han Solo in the Star Wars movies and is set to reprise his role as Indiana Jones in a new film. Other classics include The Fugitive, Air Force One, Patriot Games. Happy birthday, Mr. Ford.
Get off my plane.
I felt that.
Yeah, he's just like, you wanted him to be the president. I mean, that's the guy. With the little earring.
You think he still has that earring?
I think so.
I think he still rocks it, huh?
I think he rocks it.
Off
Still
camera?
with Callista Flockhart. How cute are they?
I know. Still flying his own little planes.
I got some comments.
I got some comments.
Wow, so that cow story, huh?
Raise V-Vibe. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was about this one. Donnie wanted to write in, and I appreciate this. He says, I want to thank DBL for bringing this segment with Timothy McLemore. It was a very important one at this and on the show, and it's another reason why I love this show. And you make sure every community is brought into this community, and I really into the conversation. I appreciated that a lot. And then Twin78 said, Ashanti gets the MVP today for her presence at DBL.
Yes, yes. You know, I interviewed Ashanti 15 years ago. Wow. So it's really amazing. Like, it almost makes me emotional to see some of these women like Sierra and, you know, I mean, there's so many, I can't name all of them. Yeah. But to see how they've stayed in the game and like it's awesome.
My apologies too when I mentioned the Ashanti song. I sang a Jennifer Lopez song. Yeah. Thank God I didn't say that to her.
How could you? That would have been embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
See you guys tomorrow.
Where hope finds help. Where courage meets conviction. Where makers make fans. We are Tegna, a family of local and national media brands that bring us together, serving the greater good of our communities. Where national know-how backs local business. Be in good company with Tegna.
I know you lying. You are wrong as all get out.
Be honest about what you are, but don't get tough when BLM protesters are walking down the street.
I don't know how much time we have, but I'm about to go on this rampage really quick. Okay, 1 minute.
Who are you?
I'm Tori. Oh. I thought everyone knew. Sorry.
Don't you respect my opinions as well? I have to respect yours. Can't you respect mine? Raise the roof.
Yes.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
DBL is all new every day.